broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 63 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. This is a special episode. We actually finally listened to everybody and did, 2 episodes in a row. Crazy. 2 weeks in a row, I guess I should say.
Did we listen to everybody, or is it just D23 and the holiday?
It's just how D23 worked out, okay? But I'm trying to make it sound like we're fan friendly here.
Oh, well, we're fan friendly, but I mean, we don't need to lie to the people, right?
That's true. That's true. Well,
the schedule's not sustainable. But
trust me, we would do a show every week for you guys. We just don't have the time to do it.
But I think what it is that everyone has to understand. I was actually talking to my son about this today as I was picking him up. I was like, "Oh, dude, I got to get home for the podcast," and I was showing him like all the work that Tom does. I mean, honestly, between listen, I don't know how Trevor feels, but between just me and Trevor, like, yeah, we could probably jump on every week. But Tom writes everything out for us and then has to edit and stuff like that. So a little kudos to him for all the extra work that he does.
Yeah, for sure. That production work is really what keeps this thing running. So
I keep on wanting to start another podcast about television shows, and I always get together with my buddies, but no one wants to be Tom. No one wants to do all the work, so we're like, nah.
That's what happens. Yeah, no, you got to have a Tom.
You have to have a Tom. Thank goodness we have a Tom.
So, oh my gosh, we're glad to have you back, Trevor. I hope all your painting went well and you're back in your house. So.
Yeah, we are back in now. We're still not done the reno, but at least we can live in the house again. So. We're getting there.
That's good.
I'm excited to show off when it's done. There are some Disney aspects to it that I wanted to show off to the podcast, but that's still a little ways out.
Oh, awesome. That's good. We're just glad to have you back and that you're back in your house, which, obviously is important too.
So. It's a big thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have a house function in its basic purpose, and that's functioning as a house, right? So.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! But man,
I'm going to move everyone along today because
we've got a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about.
Let's get into this.
All right. Who wants to, do you guys want to read the listener email real quick?
Yep, yeah. I'll do it. All right. So Zach writes, "Good morning, guys. I wanted to start off with saying that I'm a huge fan of the show. We appreciate that. I found your show back on 7/6/19 and started listening to them in chronological order. I am now almost caught up with the most recent episode. Your show has my work day is more enjoyable." See, this is the part that Tom could have, fixed this up a little bit for me.
Writing, man.
I know. I'm now sad because I now have to wait for new episodes to come out. Because of your podcast, I've decided to start a Disney blog. I'm calling it Please Stand Clear of the Doors. I just got my site set up the other day and hope to have posts on it soon. And you'll be able to find a link. That's Zach. And, we do appreciate it. And again, we're always happy to help out listeners in terms of, projects that they're working on. So, go over and take a look. And I'm sure he has a different take than some of the other blogs on, all the latest news that comes out.
Yeah. So, thanks, Zach. We appreciate that. And it's cool that we inspired somebody to create a blog. I think this is the second or third one we've actually inspired, which is kind of crazy. Because I remember there was another person that wrote in and said that we inspired them to start a blog too. And it was many, many episodes ago. So I apologize to this listener, but it's cool. We appreciate this, Zach. It's really neat.
Yeah. It's like a cool chain reaction thing because we were inspired and now other people are following after us. So yeah, keep it going.
Crazy, right? Right, crazy. All right. Well, let's talk first of all. We've got some stuff, some pre D23 stuff, but actually some D23 stuff and some stuff that didn't happen at D23. So, but let's start talking Star Wars Hotel. How about we start there? I think that's a good place to go because it's super exciting. I'll read some of these real quick here. So some of this, by the way, is rumors. So there's some things that were revealed at D23, but some of it is rumor that we got from WDW. So take some of that with a grain of salt. We will, say where it's a rumor, because, these certain things have not been announced. We've said this before in the show. We like to talk about rumors. Rumors are fun. Okay. So even if they're not true, that's fine. We like to speculate and have fun. So we do know though for a fact the hotel will be called Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, which I think is a good name. I'm okay with it. I like it. First of its kind experience where guests will check in for a 2-night adventure aboard a glamorous starship. Once on board, guests will interact with characters, become active participants in the stories that will unfold around them on their journey. And this is the rumor part of it. So, and WWNT posted a whole bunch of concept art Some really neat pictures on there, so check out their website. We're not going to post them because, again, these are not our pictures, so we're not going to post them. But in the lobby, you'll find a large hologram tube with projections of various characters, perhaps even interacting with live guests. You may even notice a droid plugged into a console, very similar to some of the roaming droids that were expected to be at Star Wars Galaxy Edge, which probably will be someday. Then they show a picture of the lobby of the actual starship, which has like this big thing on the top of it. It's a big like round looking thing, and what they're saying that this is this prop above the lobby will be used for a cool moment. One of the highlights of the experience will be an attack by the First Order, likely still looking for the spy from Batuu. Guests will conduct a space assault from the bridge of the ship, but at some point Kylo Ren will come aboard the ship. Railings and such will spark as laser blasts are fired, but Kylo will supposedly make this large piece of ceiling collapse towards the guests. And also, using his force powers, he'll also have the ability to pull actors on the ship towards him using his abilities, and special platforms located on the catwalk will make the magical effect happen. Wow, that's really cool. I mean, that's really cool, right?
That's a lot of production for a hotel lobby.
Well, that is a lot of production for a hotel lobby. That's true. It's a lot of production for a hotel, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, if they execute the way that this rumor says, I mean, yeah, you're right. That will be amazing. Sorry, I'm just a little skeptical about how elaborate this is going to be. I guess maybe I'm trying not to set my expectations too high.
Well, that's funny because I'm the exact opposite. Like, I think this is going to be some sort of entertainment package, but I think they can pull it all off I mean, just, again, I think about the plays that I've seen on Broadway, right? And just seeing The Lion King for the first time, I never thought they could have pulled off half of what they pulled off in that play. And I think this is going to have more money attached to it and, a lot more ability because it doesn't need to be changed out. It's not specifically on a stage. I think that they're going to pull this off far better than we all think.
Right, but I guess my only thought on that is, things have to be positioned in such a way, because it is a functioning hotel lobby, is that it can't interfere with, people checking in and checking out and all that kind of stuff, right?
People aren't going to be checking in and checking out all the time, right? This is a set
everybody's going to
situation.
check in at the same time and check out at the same time,
of course.
from what I understand, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that's because it's going to be, because they would have to do it that way, right? There's no way they could do it otherwise.
Yeah, because it's a story from start to end.
Yeah. So
I think they can pull it off. I mean, because really, what does the hotel lobby serve for? I have this feeling that a lot of it's going to be, on rails per se, right? So that there's going to be a lot of things you can and can't do based on what's going on, that day. So I think they're going to do it. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I'll be honest with you. Like, this is super exciting for me. This is one of those things that gets me back interested.
Well, I also think to myself, though, too, like, everything at this hotel is going to be very scheduled, right? It's going to all have to be like, you got to be here at this time, you got to do this at this time. Like, it's going to have to be that way, but there'll probably be some structured wander time too, I would think. I don't know. But I mean, it's not like they could say like, 8 p.m. Fight with the First Order, come to the lobby. So there'll have to be something to get them there, right?
Right, and I guess that's where I'm kind of thinking about the hotel lobby thing too. Is if they're forcing everybody, to check in at the same time, I can see that working. But people get delayed, people show up at different times. I just wonder how
you're not getting in then. It's like a cruise. I mean, think about this like a cruise. You show up late, you don't get on. That's it. I've never been on a cruise, story.
So I wouldn't.
Right? No. Yeah. So I mean, the boat doesn't wait for anybody. If you're not there, you're not getting on. So like what a cruise does is that you can get there early. And then you can get on the boat, but there's nothing going on, right? Or they have small things going on, right? And I think that's what we're going to see is we're going to see, check-in is from X to X. There's going to be little things going on. But remember, there's going to be people to funnel this down. So think about it. So you want to get everyone everywhere at once, right? It's the same thing like you have a boat. There's an alarm. Now, not an alarm like a smoke alarm and people freak out, right? But there's a first, order attacking alarm. Everyone needs to meet at the lobby. You go, you're part of the story. You stay in your room, you're not. Again, being on a cruise ship, I think, Trevor, like you said, I mean, you understand a little bit more how this could work because in reality, it is a cruise ship.
Right.
It's a space cruise ship.
Yeah, I guess, like I said, I've never experienced that, so I just don't know. I've never had to deal with something structured like that.
Disney does a good job at pulling it off. I think a lot of what we're going to see is one of the things to me is the dojo. Like that's something that I think is going to be awesome. But what I think they'll have is that they'll have situations where everyone will be at the dojo for something, or they'll split it into groups or whatever the case may be, but there'll also be free time. So again, if you decide that you don't want to be part of that event, that you don't necessarily have to go. It's the same thing at a cruise ship. You don't want to be part of karaoke. Okay, great. Don't go. Right? There's other smaller things to do or bigger things to do depending on what you want to do. You want to sit in front and watch a movie? You want to stare outside the window? Your money. Do what you want to do.
I'm just imagining myself being like in the bathroom or in the shower, and then the alarm starts going off, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? Like, start freaking out.
You're rushing to get dressed and running down the hallway.
I'm putting my pants on as I'm walking down the hallway. Don't start the fight without me. I forgot my lightsaber in the room. So, I just think it's going to be highly scheduled, right? It's going to have to be very, very, put together in that way. But like you said, there's still going to be free time because it seems like there is like an exploration part of this too, where you can kind of wander around and mess around with stuff. And one of the rumors on here was that the bridge of the ship will have interactive stations that guests can play with, but they'll be used more seriously when an attack from the First Order is mounted. Guests will also have to fix things in the engineering room, but if they misbehave across the ship, they'll be taken to a special bridge for warning. Does that mean you get arrested in this? You get like Star Wars arrested? Is that what I'm reading here?
That's what that sounds like. It sounds like if you're causing trouble, they will deal with you accordingly.
Which is kind of funny. Kind of want to go to Star Wars jail. I think that'd be kind of funny. I want to skip down though too. So there were some more details revealed at D23, and kind of what Damon, what you were just referring to, was the. Gosh, I don't even have this on here, do I? I might have missed this part. Oh no, wait, there it is. So some of the immersive elements, there's going to be you're going to be able to wield a lightsaber and face off against a training remote. Basically, I don't know how would you guys describe that. I think everybody knows that scene.
The ball.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like it's a floating ball like it is in the movies, but still, it looks pretty cool. Well, that was what you're talking about, right, Damon? Did we lose Damon?
I think we might have lost him. Did he fall asleep?
I think he might have.
No, I just couldn't find the mute button. I had like a few windows open. I tried to unmute myself, and I was like, wait, I have 3 things I'm trying to buy in my Amazon cart at the same time. Wait, this is not going to work out well. Okay.
So you were talking about the whole training thing, right? Where you can
the dojo.
Yeah. First of all, I've read that in the Rise of the Resistance ride.
Wait, did you guys see the thing before it got taken down? The behind the scenes of the ride?
No. Oh yeah, I did see the little behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just a little bit. It was just a couple of the stormtroopers and
Yeah, that was cool though.
Yeah, it was neat. I did hear though with Rise of the Resistance that Disney has figured out a way to visibly show like lightsaber shots, like, going across. So I'm wondering if they're going to be able to do that with this experience, because based on this picture that they put out, it looks like you'll be able to see the shots coming at you.
Blaster shots, yeah.
Yeah, right? Oh, it just looks so cool.
I was thinking that, because remember a while ago we talked about them patenting some augmented reality technology?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that's what we're thinking, yeah. That's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, that's where I think this is going to go. Is all these patents that they're using. You're going to see this is actually winding up into these activities at the hotel.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I don't see any glasses on the person in the picture. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there are. Yeah, it's interesting. It's really cool.
These pictures are just unreal.
Yeah, if they actually pull this off with the way the concept art looks, this is going to be a crazy.
And it's funny because at Universal, I mean, we didn't think that they were going to pull off Harry Potter the way they pulled off Harry Potter, right? Like that's another experience. Listen, I don't think Disney has that yet, right? I think this is going to be it. But when you walked into Harry Potter for the first time, the first week before anyone else was there, the experience was unreal. Like I remember being there and just being like, wow. I think this is going to be the same sort of feeling.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Did you guys see the cool the possible transportation system? Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's like a bus or something, but it's modified.
But you don't know you're on a bus.
Right. Yeah.
Much like the train, like you're talking about Harry Potter, right? That train that takes you back and forth. First of all, it's not even really a train from what I've read. I believe it's like on tires and everything. It just looks like a train. But this is going to be kind of the same thing where this is a bus, but you're going to get on like a jetway and it's going to take you into the middle of the bus and you're never going to see a driver and it's going to seem like you're traveling to Batu when you do go to Batu, which is pretty cool. I was wondering how they were going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the train thing seemed like the obvious, like that parallel seemed obvious to me. But yeah, I guess, how do you make it not feel like you're just riding on a bus, right? And I'm assuming that they've got something in mind for that.
Have you been on the train at Harry Potter or no? You haven't been there
no,
yet?
I haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah, so I mean, it feels like a train. There's no doubt about it. It feels like a train. So again, if Universal can pull it off so many years in the past, I think that they'll be able to pull off a fake starship with a bus pretty easily.
Yeah, and it's the same kind of concept where all the windows basically are screens, and so what you're seeing outside is not actually what's happening outside, right? So that's really the whole thing. Because I mean, I think the train for Harry Potter goes through a backstage area, so like like if you actually saw the outside of where it's going, it's really not all that impressive. But because everything on the inside is a screen, you can see what they want you to see, of course.
It continues the story is what they're shooting for.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking to myself about this. Like, what if you had like a family emergency and you had to leave? Just like the weird awkwardness of the cast members still having to like stay in character as they transport you back to Earth. Like, I was just thinking about how weird that would be if you actually had to leave this experience.
But yeah, I don't think we saw somebody on the cruise, unfortunately, who had to leave for health reasons. I mean, yeah. The cruise had not started yet, thank goodness, right? I'm sure it was a lot easier for them to get off, but why would it be anything out of the norm? I mean, so
I guess because you're supposed to be on a starship in space, and
it's not that there's a door they can open up and you can walk out. I mean, of course there's a door you can walk out.
That's what I'm saying.
But they're going to bring you. No, they're just going to. If someone needs to leave, they take them. They bring them behind the scenes. They bring them to the door behind the scenes. I mean, no one else would know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is Disney's good at that, right? Like
very good at that.
It's like the tunnels under Magic Kingdom. That people will just disappear and you'll never know.
That sounds promising. Just disappear.
Yeah.
I was also thinking to myself, it sounds like they're going to have to guide you through Batu because you're not going to just be able to go be like, during this experience, like, oh, I want to go ride on, Slinky Dog or Star Tours. And like, they're not going to let you leave Batu, right?
Why not?
I mean, because why would they? That would take you out of the whole experience.
You're saying while you're there, if you wanted to go to another land?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's...
It's a cruise ship, right? Just get the mentality of a cruise ship. You're not leaving unless you're sick. That's it. End of story. You're on it. And why would you want to?
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, like, if somebody said that, like, you're supposed to be in space. You're supposed to be on the planet Batu. There's no Toy Story Land on planet Batu.
Yeah, because the idea is that, you get on the starship, you go to to Batu.
Yeah.
But then what's stopping you from just walking out into the rest of Hollywood studios?
That's what I'm saying.
A checkbook?
I
mean, at the end of the day, right? I mean, I don't like to waste money. I mean, I'm sure anyone could walk out the door if they wanted to. You're not prisoner there.
That's true. That's very true.
Hey, cast member, I want to leave. Okay, sir, you understand you can't come back in, right? Yes, I understand that. You understand you paid a lot of money for this. Yes, I understand that. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not a prisoner. You can do what you want, but they're not going to let you back in.
That's fair points. Fair point all around there.
I guess my thinking was when you go to Batu, I'm wondering if that's going to be like they have scheduled things.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are they going to tour you around?
Yeah, you do things.
I think it's going to be outside of park hours. To be honest with you.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? So if I'm in for full immersion, I don't want to see the soccer moms. Like, I'm there for full immersion.
That's a really good point.
I think that's what they're going to do. And again, it doesn't need to be crack of dawn. I mean, hey, listen, Hollywood Studios Star Wars Land opens at 10 o'clock.
Well,
or it's at night.
Or at night. Well, I get sleepy, so in my head, it's going to be in the morning.
And then at that point, they just fill the park with actors that are all in on the story, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, if we're looking at anywhere close to what these rumored price points are, that is what they're going to do because the money is going to be there to do it.
That's exactly right. Right. We should talk about that.
Yeah. So these price points.
I think these are truly rumors.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree. Yeah, this is a rumor. So they're saying for a cabin, it's a two night 3-day stay starts at $3,300 for one person. Hold on, $3,300 for one person, or just over $1,000 per person per day.
See, I don't understand that. So what does that mean?
I think they were just trying to break it down by per day, per person.
I think it's bare minimum occupancy, right?
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to go there and do a solo trip, which I don't know why you would do that, but
that would be awesome. Are you crazy? I mean, are you talking about really being immersed? Like, leave everyone at home. I'm in.
But I want to be there with my family. I want to be there with my kid and my wife and do it. So I guess to me,
My family's out. So I'm going solo because they don't want to go. No one wants to go.
So that's fine. You can pay the $3,300.
Yep.
But then I guess they also said that there's an option for maxing out the cabin occupancy, which
And that is going to increase the price. I don't care what this rumor says.
Right,
There's
but
no way it doesn't.
Yeah.
well, what they're saying is that a cabin of 5 will cost $7,200, or roughly $1,440 per person, which translates to $480 per person per day.
So the more people you have, the less it costs.
That's what that's what it sounds like, is that, going in a larger group brings the cost down.
But it doesn't bring the cost down. It brings the cost per person down.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
I can still roll solo for $3,300 or bring my family for $72. Guess which one I'm going to choose if my kids aren't super interested. Yeah, I'm going to roll solo for $33.
Okay, fair. That's totally fair.
No. I just want to make sure people understand that it's not that it's changing the price. It's not lowering the price at all.
No,
it's just changing the price per person, which still increases the price dramatically.
But
right?
It still feels better, for a family of 5, spending $7,000 versus spending over $10,000. If your whole family's in on it anyway, right? Like my family, we're all in.
So this is the weird thing. So what's weird for me is that I'm the only one in on my family, and the other family we travel with, the wife's the only one in on that side of the family. So we are talking like, can we pull that off? Is that too suspect? Like, can we go together? Like, we might have to do that though.
I mean, it's interesting to me though, because like you said, you're not going to shell out this kind of money if someone's kind of a little bit interested. You need to be really into this to spend this kind of money, right? I mean,
oh yeah, you need to be all in.
And I mean, when I look at these prices, though, this is kind of what I expected. So I don't.
I'll tell you the truth. I don't think this is the price. I think the price is going to be more.
You think it's going to be more?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. I think so. Because that's like, okay, listen. Not that that's not a lot of money, right? But that's not a lot of money, right? That's just a lot of money, right? Because think about if I decide I want to go to the Polynesian, like DVC members are so out of touch with pricing at Disney. I think
That's
sometimes
true. That's totally true,
right?
Yeah.
So go tell me that I need to stay at the Contemporary or Dolphin and Swan or Polynesian. It doesn't even matter where for a week. Go look at the prices for a family and then come back and tell me that this is really all that outrageous.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I've looked at that and yeah, it's kind of bonkers.
You're so right. Because I actually, it's funny you say that because for my upcoming trip, I had sent my stepmother, who has never gone to Disney ever before, I had sent her the room, like a link to Animal Kingdom Lodge, and it was a 2-bedroom. And she looked at it at the 2-bedroom and she was like, this is like $12,000 for the week. Are you paying for all this? And I'm like, no. Don't worry. We're not paying $12,000, So yeah, no, you're totally right. You just get kind of insulated to that kind of cost. I mean, because you don't think about it with DVC. So
I think it's going to be more money, but we'll see who's right.
Well, this is interesting, and so the rooms too. They come in a regular sized cabin and the larger captain quarter cabin.
So how many rooms are there again? So it's 32 cabins, right?
Each floor is supposed to have 32.
Yeah, sorry, per floor it's 32. And
how many floors are there?
It doesn't say. So a couple, I think.
You think more than one floor? I don't know how they pull that off. I kind of think it's going to be one floor.
I mean, I would think it would be at least 2 or 3, but I mean, I don't know.
All right, so think about the amount of people. Okay, so let's look at the logistics of this, right? So I say 4 floors. So now it's 120 rooms, right? At 5 people per room. You're telling me they're going to run 600 people through this? No way.
That's a lot, yeah.
No.
That's
no way. I think what's going to happen is that we may see just 32 cabins and we may see a higher price point. Again, maybe 2 floors, but I even think that seems a little crazy because you have to multiply everything by 5 just in case, right, as a maximum occupancy. So if I say 64 now, 300 people, think about the logistics of moving 300 people around. I don't think so. I think we have 32 cabins and I think the price is higher and that's going to be what happens, but we'll see.
I feel like we talked about this before because when the design or when the plans came out for building the hotel, I remember seeing that it was like the plan showed it being 2 or 3 floors.
Yeah, because we talked about this on a previous episode. There was some like not patents filed, but there were like permits filed.
Yeah,
that had some diagrams of it, and I think it was at least 2 floors, but I don't remember.
But 2 floors of cabins or just 2 floors?
That's a good question because it could just be other space for other things. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, again, maybe 2 floors I could see, 60 rooms. Okay, I could see that. But you understand what I'm kind of chatting about is like the logistics of just moving everyone around. I mean, that dojo looks big, but doesn't look that big. They're going
to have a lot of them. They got to have a lot of them, right? I mean, they can't just be one room. Because we see the floor, right? So at most, if you're saying 2 floors, you're talking about 2 dojos, right? What if it's 2 duplicate floors, though? What if you
Well, see, I could see that. So that I could see. So I could see that if you're going to run the same show on different floors, kind of, that would be fine. But then the 2 floors shall never meet, right? Like at least during the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought too. Is maybe it's not even necessarily that they've duplicated it, but maybe they figured out a way that they do sections, right? So like section A is over on Batu, while section B is doing the dojo. or something.
So now you're talking though. Yeah. So now you're talking though $60,000, right? Approximately. Right, what do we know? So $90,000, is that what we're getting per event? Is that kind of, per floor? So let's just say that it's $90,000. Man, that seems like a lot of money, but is that enough money to pull off everything they're thinking about pulling off? Plus, right, food's included. And probably some drinks, right? Yeah. Probably not alcoholic, or maybe one a day, or whatever the case may be. We don't know the answer to that. Maybe there's an alcoholic package you can buy. But it doesn't seem like a lot of money for running something like this.
Yeah.
Right. And when I think about a cruise ship and, they have 2 play, so they do the play back to back, right? So you can either have an early dinner or late dinner. So they're doing it twice, but there's a lot of people on a cruise ship, right? And they're paying a lot of money. And I don't see how those numbers logistically work, to be honest with you. Because $90,000 is not a lot of money.
But also, is that where the fact that it's only like a 2 or 3 day thing?
Well, it's definitely got to be 3 days, right? Because 2 night, 3 days. So if every 3 days, $90,000, that does not seem like a lot of working capital to pull off what they're trying to pull off.
But if you're talking, let's say it's $7,200 per room and there's 32 rooms, that's $230,000 though, right?
Okay, but let's just say every room is single occupancy, right? Because you have to figure that in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
So bare minimum at 90. Can you pull it off? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
It's going to be interesting. I'm glad they reveal more about this because this is happening. I mean, it's really happening.
I'm just hoping that it's there for my 50th birthday. That's what I'm shooting for, man.
Nice. Yeah,
had a couple years away, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I don't see this opening anytime soon, but who knows? We don't have an opening date. That's not something they announced. So
the weird thing about this is it is unlike Star Wars Land and all the lands that have been built. This has been very isolated from everything else.
Yeah.
So we really don't even know where it is. Like in terms of construction schedule or anything. Like with Star Wars Land, you could see everything coming up. This is like, it's just off in a corner somewhere. So we have no idea if they've been, going crazy on it or if it's, like you said, 3 or 4 years out.
I've seen a couple pictures. It looks like you can see some of it, but who knows?
It's just a building though, right? Like
it's just a building. You don't know what's going on the inside and, you could just see the outside construction basically. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting for sure. But we just talked about that for a half hour. And we have a million other things to talk about.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's shift gears here to Epcot. I want to talk about Epcot.
Yeah, I read the other one. Do you want to read this one, Trevor? Or start reading it because there's a lot of it. There's a lot of Epcot.
So, where to start? So there's a lot changing at Epcot. I guess the big highlight is Epcot is being split into 4 neighborhoods. Yeah. So, and you're going to make me go into the articles to
I'm going to make you go into the articles because the articles are all super long and there's a lot of detail in all of them. So I didn't want to make this 20 pages long today.
Right. No, that's fair. So so they're getting rid of Future World as it stands. And so now you're going to have World Discovery, World Celebration, World Nature, and World Showcase. They kept the last one because
they did.
Yeah,
they did.
Very sneaky.
That was.
But I think that's great because that means like World Nature is where the land and the living seas and everything is. So that kind of solidifies that those are going to stay where they are. Mm-hmm. So that's good. World Discovery is on the other side where Test Track and Guardians of the Galaxy and what is the
Play Pavilion, Mission Space?
Yeah, and that new play, the Pixar play or whatever.
Yeah, the Play Pavilion, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the center is going to be World Celebration. So that's where Spaceship Earth is and what used to be Innoventions, which is going to become all these gardens and everything. And
it's going to be torn down completely.
Yeah. And then World Showcase is World Showcase, which I think that kind of makes more sense. Like it gives a little bit more definition to the park, I think. So we start there. And then
branch out from there to the million updates that we get.
So I guess on a high level to go over the things that they are doing. So we've already talked about, the redesigning mouse gear, electrical umbrellas closing down to get an update. The Moana Journey of Water. I don't even know where this is going. Did we ever find out where this is or have we just seen concept arts?
So where this is going is where Interventions is now. So it's going to be kind of, the beginning part of where Interventions is now. They're going to tear all that down and you'd walk through this to get to Finding Nemo and the Living Seas. It's going to be right there. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's going to be, and not to confuse people. It's funny. I saw a lot of people talking about this and they were thinking it was a Moana ride. It's not. Yeah, no. It's a like an interactive water play park, I guess is what you would call it. So
yeah, and if you see Moana, like she interacts with the water a lot and makes the water do things, it makes sense.
Yeah, and actually seeing the concept art to this kind of looked like if you've ever been in line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, there's these little water chime things that you can play with, like you put your hand under it and it shoots water out and has color and all that kind of stuff. It looks like they're kind of doing similar things to that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more elaborate ones, but it's not meant to be like a lineup attraction. It's meant like you wander in there, you check stuff out, and then you leave and go somewhere else. So I guess for all the Moana fans, you're actually getting Moana in the park, but it's not a full-blown attraction.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think they were very careful to say inspired by Moana, right? Because I don't think Moana is going to show up anywhere there. I think it's just inspired by the water features of Moana and the feel of the Polynesian feel of Moana. It doesn't feel like there's Moana's going to be there.
Who's the poster though that said that she was not on board with something at Epcot? What was announced about Epcot? I don't know. I feel the same way, dude. Keep everyone out of Epcot. Epcot's I don't need Mary Poppins, Guardians of the Galaxy, or Moana in Epcot, man.
But I'm saying Moana's not going to be in. It's just inspired by Moana.
So if I go there, I don't want to hear any Moana voiceovers, no Moana anything. That's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the case.
It's a big heart at Tafiti in the middle of the...
Exactly.
Okay. Yes, but if you never saw Moana, you would just think it was a cool symbol and you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know what that was.
Right. I guess...
Stop. Now you're grasping a straw. Stop.
No, I'm not. No, I'm being serious.
All right, so Guardians of the Galaxy, I think that they're real.
Guardians.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I equate it to, again, you've never been to California, but in California Adventure, they have an explorer's trail, and in the back of it, they've got a Brother Bear interactive thing. So you go into a cave, and there's all these things that are related to Brother Bear.
But it's not Epcot.
Okay, but I'm... hold on. But it seems like a similar idea is that they're just making you don't have to, be invested in the IP. It's just something that they've put in the park. And the Brother Bear thing specifically, it's actually ties into, it's the, what's the thing that Russell belongs to from up, the Wilderness
Explorers.
Yeah. So the actual area is a Wilderness Explorers trail, but then they've got a Brother Bear thing in there.
Oh, so interesting.
And sure, I get that, but that's also at a park that's not specifically Epcot. Right, that was brought about for another reason.
I see.
But
I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Like the problem here is Epcot. It's not.
Yes. Oh no. It's just Epcot.
Okay. All right. But if this wasn't themed to Moana, how would you feel about it? Would you be just okay with the idea of a walking path attraction with water features and
so if it was specific to like a country and that's where we were going with it? I mean, I guess I don't know,
Polynesian something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, listen, I understand why Disney's doing it, right? I understand why Disney put Frozen in there, right? I think that's what the poster was commenting on, was Frozen. Sure. And I get it, but it doesn't make me feel good when you have a lot of other land and a lot of other area that you could do things like this. I don't know. Epcot to me was about learning. It was about future cities, like real stuff. Like, I don't know.
I will say a lot of the other stuff they're doing that's not like besides Ratatouille and Mary Poppins and Guardians, like a lot of that stuff.
besides all the biggest things that they're doing,
but the stuff they're putting in the middle there is very
like the space restaurant sounds very Epcot-y. Like I'm cool with that.
But like that whole center area, all that stuff they're doing. Like, did you see the concept art for the festival center? Because it looks like it looks super retro. It looks super Epcot. It looks like the coolest thing I think they're ever going to build.
I think what they did is that instead of opening a new park, they just shrunk Epcot down. Right now, Epcot is going to be the middle. And then the rest of it's going to be whatever they want.
Epcot is the middle part, and then well, and then World Showcase is still Epcot, right? I mean, that's
but is it with Frozen and Mary Poppins, Cherry Tree Lane, and
I mean, yes,
it's not as bad as it could be.
I mean, I can still walk by those and go to the rest of the pavilions quite fine. Like, I
don't know the last time you saw a talking rat that cooked, but I don't run across them that often. I'll be honest with you.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not going to comment.
But okay, so listen, we're going all over the place here, but no, I like the direction this is taking in a lot of ways, but I like that center area that they're building, because one of the things they're doing too is, and I'm skipping ahead, guys, by the way, just the Spaceship Earth overhaul. Just looking at that, they're good. So the exit's going to be changed. We talked about this. This was rumored a while ago.
Yeah.
So they're going to overhaul everything basically from from which point on? From the Industrial Revolution portion where newspapers are being printed. Every scene after that is going to be redone. But then the exit is going to be different too. Now, from what I read, it seems like the exit is going to be elevated. Like you're going to come out to like a view of the park. And that area is going to look over this area, called the World Celebration, which will have it's an area called Dreamer's Point, which will have gardens, a wishing tree, an interactive fountain, and a new statue of Walt Disney there too, which I think is very Epcot. That feels very Epcot to me.
Yeah. And I think that kind of falls more in with, that vision of, Epcot. I know it's still not a city, but it gives that idea of, a futuristic city where, they have these parks and everything set up, right? Like I totally agree with you that I think they're really trying to get back to I think what that model was that Walt started with. So at least it has, it's I didn't realize this, I love Epcot and I loved the way it looked because it was so 90s. But I realized more what I was in love with was the retro 90s and not the actual idea of Epcot, if that makes sense.
No, that totally makes sense. That 100% makes sense. I totally get what you're saying. I just can't get over some of this concept art is amazing, right? Mm-hmm. I'm Damon, it's funny because what you just said makes so much sense, right? That was a brilliant point by you. I'll give you credit for that because you're right. They took the Epcot concept and kind of said this Epcot neighborhood part, the middle part here is going to be Epcot, right?
Yep.
And then we're going to put all the IP stuff outside of that. But I think what I like is they are bringing some classic things. I feel like the new logo, I don't know if you guys saw the new logo.
Yeah.
Very retro. Very much old school, I think. And I saw that logo and immediately was like, I need a shirt or a hat with that on it right now. because I liked it a lot, and I like that all the pavilions have their own little like symbol too, is pretty cool. But I mean, all these gardens that they're building, all of this like greenscapes areas just feel very Epcot to me. And I like the idea of it opening up a lot more, you know, getting rid of that whole building is going to open things up so much. It's going to be, and like I said, I can't get over the festival center that's like 3-tiered where you can watch the fireworks from it because it's the way it is and the way it's facing World Showcase. And, there's going to be all sorts of other stuff in there too, but it looks so cool. I don't know if you guys looked at it, but I couldn't get over it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I've been trying to get through all of these. Like I've been trying for the last couple of days to get through all of this stuff, and yeah, I keep missing these things because there was just so much of it dumped. But then, I did notice as well about the Epcot Experience Center. So they're going to have where the Odyssey is. So all the stuff we've been talking about, I guess, starting in October. You're going to be able to, you know, see previews and they're saying interactive exhibits showing off the stuff that is coming to Epcot. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that, you know, they're not just saying, you know, hey, stay tuned. This is, you know, a couple of years out, is that, you know, we know we're going to have to deal with Epcot in its current state for a little while, but at least you kind of get a taste of what's coming hopefully here. So I'm really curious to check this out in November when I'm there, because it'll be open by then. So
I hope October means early October so I can check it out, but I get the feeling it doesn't. So
well, me and Damon will tell you all about it. So
if Damon decides to visit, he might just not visit at a protest though.
I might just be sitting in Star Wars the whole time.
Just
drinking at the cantina.
Drinking in the cantina, just talking about, I can't believe they got rid of energy, Universe Energy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we also got some new information about the Nighttime Spectacular, which is going to be called HarmoniUS, which, first of all, I hate it. Yeah, so I hate it if you say it that way. Okay, so I like the name, but the way it was shown in different places, it says Harmony with us capitalized at the end. I hate that. HarmoniUS sounds ridiculous to say.
It's not HarmoniUS, it's HarmoniUS.
Okay.
That's
I mean, I don't know. I saw a picture of like the logo for it, and it wasn't capitalized at the end, but it was highlighted, the US part. So I don't know. But I mean, the concept art looks awesome, and it is supposed to be the largest show they've ever created. So I feel like Disney's been saying that. They always says that. It's like, oh, this is the biggest thing we've ever done, and then just it keeps being the biggest thing they've ever done. But
they have to say that because if Disney came out to you and said, you know, this is the third biggest thing we've done,
that's true.
Yeah, how would you feel about that?
It's a fair point. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess from the pictures, it looks like there's a lot more floats involved. They've got like I'm thinking there's going to be like a center stage where all of this is going on in the middle of the lagoon.
Seems like it.
Yeah,
they were building something out there for a while on that island, so I don't know, but it looks cool. Are you into the space restaurant, Damon? Are you cool with that one?
Dude, I'm actually watching the video for the cruise ship that just got announced, the Wish. And I don't really care what you guys are talking about now because they just announced the cruise ship called the Wish, and that was not awesomer than everything that was announced at D23.
I mean, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll give it to you. I didn't put it on the list because we don't really talk.
Well, I think it just came. Here, I just literally saw the post like an hour ago.
Yeah.
So,
you see,
why don't we talk cruise line?
Well,
you two haven't cruised. Why are you guys not cruise?
We're still talking about Epcot, though. We can talk about cruise line.
Stupid show. I'm not going to see that show. I'll be asleep by then.
Okay, well, we can move on to the space restaurant. That's something you're interested in.
I want to talk about that elevator. That elevator is awesome.
Thank you. Did you see that too? I'm looking at that picture right now, and it's the coolest thing ever.
Wait, is that on the link here?
It is on the link.
Yes.
Yeah, pull it up. Because basically, you know, the whole idea of the space restaurant, which by the way is going to be called Space 20.
I don't see this. I don't see this.
Second picture.
Elevator.
Second picture where people are standing in a circle.
So, I don't see this. What link are we talking about? Is it the same one with the picture of Walt?
No.
That's Spaceship Earth. Am I too far ahead? You guys are that. Oh my goodness, we're this far back.
We're all over. We're all over.
We've been jumping around.
Yeah, we're all over the map today. So Space 20, it's not 2020, it's 220, but I feel like I'm going to keep calling it 2020.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's 220.
Because
that is kind of cool.
Yeah, so the whole idea is that you're
not cruise ship cool, but like it's kind of cool.
The whole idea is that you're 200 miles or so into space, and you have to get to the space restaurant, you have to take this elevator. And I was wondering what they were going to do. And so, if you haven't seen the picture yet, it's people standing in a circle, looking down at like a picture of Earth as they go up on the elevator. That's so cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to eat at this restaurant. I don't know how it's going to open by the end of the year.
Wait, is it quick serve or no?
No, it's table.
Sit down.
Table, okay.
Table, yeah. So you guys actually might be able to go to this because they said winter, but I get the feeling it's going to be December. But
I'll be there in December.
Yeah, I won't be, but
for a few days.
I might have to change some of my ADRs. Ugh.
What you're going to change some of your ADRs to what?
Well, I may have to cancel something if this
opens up.
Yeah.
I would so cancel whatever I had my Epcot day for this because it just looks so cool. I mean, I was just cursed.
I don't know. You know what I'm getting to the point of is like I kind of like have to leave stuff on the table. Like this sounds cool, but like it seems like a next trip thing because I like having more things to do each trip than kind of going every year and then being like, okay, so what are we going to see? Wasn't I just here, sort of thing? So this might be one that I save for next time because we're going to be so busy. We have a short trip anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but I also kind of like how you've said in the past how you like, being there when things first launch as well.
That is true. I do like that. For
me, this seems like this is something that I would actually go out of my way to go and try and experience this if it was open. But you're right, if it's not open, I'm fine with waiting until next year to check it out too.
So we think that this elevator is how you're going to get to the restaurant?
Yes. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It doesn't look like a lot of people at a time.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be. I mean, I don't know if they have more than one, or I mean, I'm guessing it's just one, but it probably just will be
I assume this is like
as they come to get you to take you to your table.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is like a pre-show to get to your table.
Okay.
Which to have a pre-show at a restaurant is pretty cool. So, I mean, what was I just going to say? Oh my gosh, totally lost my train of thought. No, but I it's funny you guys say that because I said to my wife, I'm like, oh man, it says winter. We're going to be there in, I guess, fall. And she's like, don't worry. It's still going to be there the next time we go. And that, I felt like such a little kid when she said that to me because I was like, yeah, she's right. It is still going to be there next time.
And that's when, the song from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory cues up in your head. Baruch Assault. No, I want it now.
Yeah, exactly. I want it now. So and you, Damon, you alluded to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh no, you alluded to the Mary Poppins thing.
Yeah, Cherry Tree Lane.
Yeah, which I didn't see.
I alluded to everything because they're all kind of snoozes.
What are you talking about? They're all kind of this is huge news for the majority of Disney fans. This is awesome. I mean, I don't know what they're putting
un-Epcotting Epcot is what it is.
I swear when we first talked about this subject, I didn't think you cared about the whole characterization of Epcot.
No, I definitely do.
Okay. Well,
I mean, if I said I didn't before, I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I was drunk or something. Of course I do.
Will you still go on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride? I mean,
well, I'm going to have to, but I mean, I'm going to be mad about it. But yeah, of course I'll go on.
Because all you're going to be thinking the whole time is, like the Jeopardy scene.
Exactly. Ellen V2 is what it should have been.
I could have been napping by now.
Yeah, you could have been hoping.
I never napped at Ellen. I liked Ellen. I took it all in every single time.
Well, it's worth noting they released some new footage of or concept art, and it's going to be called Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which sounds pretty cool. But it's also going to be the first reverse launch roller coaster at any Disney park, which is also pretty cool. And the cars are going to move.
These are things that Tom will just be able to witness in pre artwork phase.
They're calling it a family coaster, so I'm sure I can make that happen.
You don't think Space Mountain is a family coaster?
You know what?
Until you ride it, man, you are never getting out of this. You know
I'm
right?
not. Like I said, I feel like it's funnier if I don't. So I have to continue this bit for But anyway, so we could stop talking about Epcot, but a lot of the announcements today were about Epcot. But shockingly, no Brazil pavilion. What is that about?
Wait, did they announce any new pavilions?
No new pavilion. No. So
well,
what
because
happened?
again, they can't do any
need to.
pavilions because they're jamming in all these stupid rides. Well, because again, like as Tom kind of skipped over, right? The England Pavilion is going to be a Mary Poppins, but it may also include a ride.
Well, so when I originally wrote this, it was unclear from what the Disney Parks blog said, but from other things I've read, it said it will feature an attraction, and it seems like it's going to be a dark ride of some sort.
Okay, so they need space for all this, right? And that's why you're not getting another pavilion right now.
Somebody made a good point on Facebook. There's a lot of stuff going on in Brazil right now. There's some political stuff going on, and then also the Amazon is burning. So I think they might have decided not to announce it just out of, bad timing.
It's touchy, yeah.
Yeah, that's my guess. I still think it's going to happen, but I just kind of feel like maybe they backed off an announcement. I don't know. But that's just my guess. I don't really know.
Okay, well, since we already have Damon not wanting to talk about rides, let's talk about more rides.
No, I'd love to talk about Mickey and Minnie's because it's nowhere near any ride that I care about. Like they could have, they sucked up that stupid other ride, so I don't care.
Well, that's not true because you care about the Star Wars rides, and it's near those rides.
I mean, well,
no, but they didn't get rid of a ride that I cared about.
You didn't care about Great Movie Ride, is what you said.
I did not.
Fair. It was nice, but yeah, it needed to. Something needed to happen. But I like these new the concept or the little car
train
design they showed. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. And apparently it's going to glow at different points. We've kind of seen this a little bit. I like that it's called Run Amok Railroad. I think that's pretty funny.
and the interesting thing is that I was thinking that it was going to be like a full on. And again, maybe just this design doesn't show that. I was thinking it was going to be like a long train where a bunch of people get on like Big Thunder or something like that. This to me looks like they could actually do like each one is its own train because if it's a trackless ride, right?
Yeah. Well, what I'd read before is that it was going to be like, maybe 4 cars on the train. And then at some point, all of the cars are going to detach from each other and go all sorts of crazy ways. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if it's changed, but that's what I thought was happening was that it was going to be like 4 train cars and then they were all going to kind of go off their own separate way.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. And then I also noticed too the way that they did the engine on it because I remember we talked about how like Goofy's supposed to be driving the train.
Yeah,
and I can see now how they're making that work. Like it looks like it has a space for screens so they can do those effects and everything.
Yeah, there are definitely going to be screens on those windows, and you'll be able to see Goofy in there. At first, I was confused because I read this and I saw the costumes and it said something about a conductor. I was like, wait, is there a live person on this with us? I thought it was supposed to be Goofy, but apparently no. It's it's obviously still Goofy and they have some conductor caps and I like the outfits. I think it's kind of cool. They pay some homage to the Great Movie Ride, kind of the Chinese theater look to it, but also kind of looks like a railway outfit. But
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, all in all, hurry up. I want to see this myself.
I know, right? Yeah, it's not going to open until next year.
Yeah.
I think they said spring next year.
So like we were saying, this is something we get to look forward to for whenever we go next year.
Exactly. Did you guys see the picture of the sign that they're going to have out front, though? The neon sign? Oh,
no,
so
I missed that.
I think I gave you guys a link to that. I think it's the second link.
Oh, there's 2 links there.
Yeah. The second link.
There's
some more details, guys.
There's never-ending links here.
I know there's a lot of links. There's a lot of stuff that happened. I was live posting this on Facebook as the stuff came out. So it was I know a lot of people were following that, but man, there was a lot of stuff coming one after the other.
Oh yeah.
So
that neon sign's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are you excited for this one, Damon? I like you said, it didn't replace anything, but I know it's not a thrill ride, but it's a cool.
I mean, it will be interesting, I guess.
I mean,
I like that
the
there's
cartoons.
Mickey and Minnie stuff.
Yeah.
No, I do not.
You don't like the? Oh, that's right. You don't like the style.
Nope.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I think they're a little like unkid friendly, right? So like my daughter watches them. I'm like, really?
They're Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, and I don't like Ren and Stimpy at all.
You see, but my kid loves it because it's right up his alley. So.
I'm a fan. I like them. I think they're fun, but I get that. I get that too. I know a lot of people don't like that animation style.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's not for everyone. All
right. Well, go ahead. Do you want to talk about Tron?
Yeah, I do want to talk about Tron. because to everyone's surprise, they called it the Tron Light Cycle Run. I guess this is a little different from the Shanghai one, but still, it's like, what else were they going to call it?
Of course, they're going to call it that.
It's a light cycle roller coaster, but basically, this. I guess there's really not too much to talk about this at this point because we already know from Shanghai what the ride is going to be like. So we're just kind of waiting for it, right?
Well, we got to see some updated. That's some updated concept art. Originally, it looked a little bit different. Now there's going to be like elevated walkways that you walk through. It looks a little darker than it used to. I feel like, and interestingly, they put the show building in there. You can see the show building in the concept art, which is odd to me because I feel like they usually delete those things. But I don't know.
You mean the big square block in the back there?
Yeah, a big square black block.
Well, that still kind of fits with Tron, though.
It does. Yeah, it does. And they also, we can see the cast costumes too, which are kind of cool. I think they're neat.
How does it feel, Tom, knowing that you'll never go on it ever?
I'll enjoy watching it.
You'll be on the Tomorrowland Speedway, longingly looking across at Space Mountain.
Trevor, that might be too much for him.
That's a little. I don't know.
If they move over to an electric based car, he may opt out. So,
oh man, that would be really cool. They should do that. It smells bad over there, and it's really noisy. They should really do that.
But you will go on there with your daughter when she's old enough, and
of course I will. Yeah,
what's going to be interesting? I have a set of friends, and their kids love rides, and neither one of them will go on them. So like anytime that we would go to Hershey Park or Busch Gardens, I'd have to go on, especially when the kids are younger. You can't send an 11-year-old on a ride by themselves, right? So I was always that. That's what's going to happen to Tom's poor kids. They're going to have to find another family member that's willing to go on rides.
My wife goes on everything, so we're good.
Yeah,
we're good. We got it covered.
I was going to say, is there a job title for surrogate ride dad, or?
The majority of things at Disney I do go on. I mean, there's very few things I don't go on.
So what that's going to mean is if Tom has more than one kid, then that one kid's going to be stuck riding by themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. That's a good reason not to have another kid.
I can't handle the theme parks.
Yeah, that's the only reason. We're just going to cut it off at one. We don't want that other kid to have a problem, But who knows? I mean, maybe the kid won't be into rides. I mean, it's always a possibility. So we'll see. We should probably do the ad for DVC Resale Market, and then we can start talking about the Marvel park that you don't care about.
Yeah, there we go.
So
that works.
All right. So let me do this ad for our friends over at DVC Resale Market. So DVC Resale Market is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 11 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 2 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days and nearly 3,000 contracts were sold in 2018 alone. So go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, which is 1-844-382-7767. Please make sure you tell them that Welcome Home sent you. We always like hearing from them that, and from you guys. I actually even saw in one of our reviews on iTunes that somebody said they bought a contract from DVC Resale Market because of us. So, I mean, that's really cool. So we've used them. They're great. And we really, love working with them. So, again, let them know Welcome Home sent you when you call them or reach out to them. And that's dvcresalemarket.com or 1-844-DVC-PROS. So, yeah, check them out.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want to buy some DVC resale contracts and save yourself a boatload of money, right?
And, because all of us, we all start with, our 100 points or whatever. And you always want more contracts.
You do. Yeah, you do. You do. So, Damon, you really don't care about this Avengers Campus thing? Because I think it looks even cooler. This makes
I've been to Universal, so no, not really.
Savage.
That's really just, that's rough, man. I mean, but isn't it at Universal? It's just kind of like, I mean, it's not like a whole themed area though, right? It's just a bunch of.
Yes, it is.
No. I mean, like this, where it's like a whole campus and everything,'s isn't it just like a Spider-Man ride and then was a whole.
Have you ever been to Universal or not?
I have. Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. Then so why are you asking me questions that you already know the answer to?
I get to engage you in conversation.
Of course, it's themed. It's themed.
No,
not,
I know
not
it's
like
themed.
this.
Not like this. That's what I'm saying.
But what's this do?
What does this do?
I'm just going to let it go. Yeah.
I thought when we talked about this last episode, you were into this.
I mean, it seems okay. I don't know.
I mean, the Spider-Man ride looks cool, right?
Yeah, kind of. I guess.
Kind of. Oh, Damon, you kill me. This is. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, as I'm looking through all this, it's very heavily pointing to Stark Industries doing a lot of this stuff. I almost feel that isn't appropriate anymore, but I feel like I'm getting into
spoilers.
Yeah,
but
are we far enough along?
I mean, I feel like we're not, because you haven't seen it, Damon.
I haven't seen any of the movies besides like Iron Man 1, so that would be about it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, but there's also PIM Technologies there. There's I saw what was it? Was it WB? Oh gosh, there's so many pictures. Is Web, that whole thing. So which is Worldwide Engineering Brigade? I'm not familiar with that. That's probably a comic book thing, but I don't read the comics, so
I don't remember what that is either.
Unless they just made it up for this, I don't know. So, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking at this too, and it seems like a Spider-Man driven company or something.
Yeah, it does, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this looks very cool. I'm excited about it. I mean, there's not a lot of details still about the rides, but there's some more stuff, about the different things that are in the land. But we got a couple more ride pictures though too that look pretty cool. Shooting the webs out of the ride vehicle looks really interesting. I still don't really know what you're going to be doing, but
again, it's going to be a ride you don't need to worry about anyway, Tom. We'll all go on it. We'll let you know how it is.
I would go on this. What are you talking about? This is like a dark ride type of thing. It's not like it's not like a crazy ride. I would go on this. No problem.
Oh, okay. We'll go with that.
Yeah, Trevor, we'll just go with that, right?
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? This just looks like this is a trackless dark ride. It's not anything outside of that.
I think it's going to be more than that, and I actually think it would be very funny if you went into it not knowing any context.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
I don't go into anything not knowing what's going to happen. So, but there is a phase 2 here too, where there'll be another e-ticket attraction, but they don't really say much about it. So, what were you going to say?
They got a lot of things going into the iron. Like, man, I think that we're going to start to get a lot more separation between the parks.
It kind of seems that way, right? It seems like Disneyland's really standing out a lot more from Disney World these days, right?
Well, I think it has to, because if they're just clones of each other, it doesn't give, like, people do justify going to one coast or the other. So, yeah, I mean, if Disneyland was just the same as Magic Kingdom, I would be like, why would I go to one or the other? Right? Like, once you've seen one, you've seen them both. And I think they're really trying to make that clear, that, and also the fact that they actually can utilize the Spider-Man licensing on the West Coast. They're playing with that. So why not?
Yeah, I agree. It looks like too that they're gonna have a phase 2 of this land too. That's gonna have an e-ticket attraction where you board a Quinjet and fly alongside the Avengers on an epic adventure. That kind of sounds like, to me, it kind of sounds like Star Tours with Avengers, which they kind of already have. They have an Iron Man ride in one of the parks overseas that I'm forgetting. But although this also says, this is from Disney Parks blog, it says Imagineers are hard at work at conceiving an all-new innovative ride system to put you in the middle of this action. I don't know what that means. Like, I just think it's funny they throw that in there. They're figuring out something new. We'll let you know. So.
See, when you first were talking about it, I was just thinking, well, this is just Smuggler's Run again. Like, it sounded like, like you sit in a cockpit and, you've got screens kind of ride.
Maybe, I don't know.
But, yeah, I don't know.
I guess
that's not me this time, Tom.
What? Okay.
I'm being honest. They're trying to sell it as something new, and to me, it almost sounds like they're just saying, we're going to give you another one of those. It's not even a dark ride. What do they call those?
Simulator?
Yeah.
No.
But why would they give us another one of those when they have one already?
I don't know.
True.
I do think that they're gonna. Maybe this is the use of that swinging technology that we saw them, because it doesn't seem like they're using that with the Spider-Man attraction. So maybe they'll use that for this. Remember that swinging one that was like a pendulum thing? So I don't know. Who knows? I mean, they're saying it's going to be a new system, so I'm assuming it will be. I don't know. But okay, Damon, we can go back to talking to stuff about you that you care about.
All right, well then we gotta skip all the way to the ticket attraction rumor for Animal Kingdom.
Okay, that's the next thing that you really care about.
Yeah, I mean the rest of them are all rumors anyway.
You don't care about Big Thunder and Jungle Cruise?
Nope.
I mean, have you seen what the Disneyland version of Big Thunder's like?
You know the answer to that, Tom. Why did you?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to. Okay, then you need
I've been
to go.
on it. It's good.
Wait, did you go on Big Thunder Mountain?
Yeah, I love. That's my favorite ride at Disney. At all Disney is Big Thunder. I love Big Thunder.
It's so stupid that you go on that and don't go on other things. I'm sorry. It's just stupid. I don't even have another word for it.
I'm thinking the same thing as you, Damon. It's like, he's busy telling us that Space Mountain is too much, and yet he's on Big Thunder.
Which is far worse than Space Mountain.
I've said many times that I would go on.
Would you go on Splash Mountain?
No, I don't like boat rides. That's unrelated. I don't like boat rides in general. Yeah,
so you don't do the Jungle Cruise.
Do you think that you're on real water?
I just in general don't like boat rides. That's just
it's on a track, just like okay.
I know it is. Okay. I know it is. I'm aware. I know how it works. I'm just
saying. But I don't care about this stuff. If that's your point, no.
No, but like if you saw the actual ending for the Big Thunder at Disneyland, it is very cool. It's like a whole theatrical. There's like sparks flying and fires and rocks falling.
So there's a ride over at Dollywood that actually has real fireworks shooting out of it at the end. You go into like it's called like the Firecracker or something, and you go into an actual the Fire Chaser Express. So is it better than that? Like probably not. So I'm okay. I'm good.
The explosion at the end is pretty crazy, though. However they do that fog effect with it, as they're saying here is that they're gonna basically mirror what they have in Disneyland, which I've been on it, and I will say riding Big Thunder in Disney World makes me miss that ending sequence in Disneyland.
Yeah, I've only seen videos of it, so I don't really know outside of just seeing videos. But from the videos I've seen, it looks very, very cool. So I don't know. I would hope that it would be just as cool, and I also would hope that they're actually going to do this, because I thought they were going to do it in the last time that they refurbished this, and then they didn't. So,
and then what do you think the Jungle Cruise refurb could possibly be for the 50th?
Yeah, this is all.
You think some new animatronics might be?
Yeah, probably should do that.
Do you suppose that they'll work in the movie?
Well,
of course they will.
Yeah, because I mean, The Rock said a while ago that they were going to like retheme the ride to the new movie, and then Disney was like, "No, we're not going to do that." But kind of feels like they're going to do that.
I feel it's going to be like how Pirates got Jack Sparrow just kind of dropped in certain places. Like it's not going to be a full redo of the ride, but you'll see things like there'll probably be stuff like in the camp or whatever that is references to the movie now.
I mean, I think I kind of need an animatronic version of The Rock in my life. Like, I kind of want to see that.
But not the Scorpion King.
No. I want to see I mean, that'd be really funny. I don't know how they would incorporate it, because I don't even really know what the Jungle Cruise movie's about. But
it doesn't matter what it's about. Oh, I should have said it.
It doesn't matter what it's about, because you're going to see it anyway.
That was a Rock reference.
Oh man, you did. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm sorry. It's been a long time since since I watched wrestling.
I should have done the voice, but I was trying to keep it low key. That's my own fault.
No, that's fair. That's fair. It's been a long time since I watched wrestling, but The Rock was amazing. So, you guys wrestling guys? Did you watch wrestling when The Rock was on?
No. I watched Bret Hart because he
Iron Sheik.
Oh yeah, Iron Sheik.
Giant.
Cool. Yeah. No, I was a big Bret Hart fan too.
Yeah, that's because he actually started in Calgary with Stampede Wrestling, so we kind of followed him as he went into WWE. Yeah.
Well, a lot of those wrestlers are Canadian too, right? A lot of those guys were. So, yeah. The big Shawn Michaels guy too.
Actually, one of Bret Hart's brothers was a substitute teacher at my school, and Owen Hart actually lived on my street. I'm not joking.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Random and us.
Yeah, totally random. But I am aware of wrestling.
That's good. I am aware of it. I'm aware it happened. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know what they'll do, but like you said, Damon, they definitely need to fix a lot of the animatronics are broken on that ride. It really needs some TLC. It badly needs an upgrade. So let's hope they do it. But it's one of those rides they got to be really careful about, right? Because if you change too much, people are going to get mad. And I mean, people get mad every time they do anything to Pirates of the Caribbean, no matter how popular those movies are.
True. And yeah, that can kind of backfire too if the movie's not a hit, right?
That's true too. I would think if the movie bombs, then they're going to cancel the whole thing. I would think that they would cancel the whole, whatever they're going to add from the movie, they would just get rid of that. They just wouldn't do it. That would be my guess. I don't know. Rock's been bombing lately, okay? A couple of his last movies have bombed, so he's
I
not...
don't know if it's been his fault, though.
That's true.
He's talking about the Fast and the Furious movie.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't even watch those, so...
There was another movie he had that bombed, too. I don't know.
Can we talk about Animal Kingdom?
Yeah, you want to talk about Animal Kingdom?
Okay, let's talk about Animal Kingdom.
I also forgot to put something in here that was announced, too. So, and we were going to talk about the
rumors.
cruise line. We were going to talk cruise line, too. Didn't you want to talk about the cruise?
Well, what am I going to talk about? You guys don't cruise. So
no, I want to talk about it. I'm interested.
Yeah, no, let's hear it. I want to hear.
Well, there's a new ship. I mean, I don't know what else there's to talk about. The video doesn't give us any information about this new ship, right? So it just shows a kind of outside shot, mocked up on computers. It's called the Wish, and I think that's all we know really right now. And wait, is it official that there's a second island?
Yes.
Okay, so and it's official that there's a second island. I think that's all we know right now.
They did talk about the second island in the presentation today. It is.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before that's done, though, right? Because doing something on an island it seems like it's going to take a little bit longer. But I mean, I'm in. Once if the Wish is going somewhere I want to go, I just don't know if it's going to be a cruise ship, that does the Bahamas. Like, I don't know what we know about it yet. Because I just saw the video like an hour ago. So,
well, the things I've seen are it's going to be called Lighthouse Point, the new island. So that's pretty cool. It's a beautiful island, but. What I read here is that Joe Rohde's actually going to be the one that's designing it, which is pretty cool that they got that high level of an Imagineer to work on this. So I'm assuming you guys know who that guy is, right?
Yes,
yeah. David, you know who Joe Rohde is. Come on, right?
No, I don't know who any Imagineers are.
What? That guy's like the most famous Imagineer.
That means nothing to me. Sorry.
He's the guy with the earring and like. Yeah, he's got all the ear hardware that is very hard to ignore looking at.
He's got a very stretchy ear. A very stretchy ear.
But
he's the guy that made Animal Kingdom and Alani happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yeah, Damon, to your point, it says construction's not going to start till 2020 and it won't be done until 2022 or 2023. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I thought you wanted to talk about this. I brought it up just for you, Damon.
I mean, what else is there to talk about? Like I said, you guys haven't cruised. There's not a lot of information out there yet. So where are we going with it?
Well, one of our listeners, by the way, does the DCL podcast and has been trying to get us on there. So, so plug to those guys because they plug us. So, DCL podcast, but, yeah, check them out. But we want to talk. I'll talk more about cruising. I would love to take a cruise. My mom is itching to take my kid on a cruise, but she's too young at this point. So,
all right, can we talk about the one thing I want to talk about before dinner?
Yes,
e-ticket.
We could talk about the e-ticket. Can we explain what an e-ticket is? Because I saw several people not knowing what an e-ticket is, and let's talk about what that means really quick.
Yeah, go ahead and explain it.
Okay. So back in the day when Disneyland opened, there was a ticketing system, right? So it was like if you go to a fair and each ride costs like 4 tickets. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I think that's a pretty common thing. I don't know if they do it in Canada.
Carnival.
Yeah, you go to a carnival, it's like you get 4 tickets in. But in this case, you got a ticket book that had rides that were classified A through E, right? And so you could ride these different rides, based on each ticket. So like A might have been like the railroad, right? It was a lesser attraction, let's say. And E was like the headlining attractions. E would have been Pirates of the Caribbean or Matterhorn or one of the high, I'm trying to think of some other ones, but one of the high level ones. So that's like the coveted ticket. So used in this case, E-ticket ride means like a big attraction, a new attraction, a headlining attraction. That's what we're going for here. So go ahead. Let's talk.
All right. So the thing, I'm reading through this rumor, and basically it's saying, there's something slated for Animal Kingdom in 2024. That's a long ways away. Like, we're talking 5 years from now.
It's 5 years from now.
But and then they kind of bounce all over the place about, where could this even go? I don't even. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, here, it's going to be something with the Lion King, and now I leave. I'm going to eat dinner. Lion King, and away I go.
Okay. Thank you, Damon. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
We already have the Festival of the Lion King, so...
Okay, so I have a couple thoughts on this. First of all, there's an expansion pad available for Pandora. Mm-hmm. Could be a Pandora. So I don't know what the ride would be, but apparently there is an expansion pad available, so they can open another ride there. The other thought is, my mind goes immediately to, and so does this article, goes to the Zootopia themed land that's coming to another park. I think it's Shanghai.
Yeah.
And that's only going to have the one e-ticket attraction, but it is going to be a whole land. So there's been talk about that too, but I don't know. I could see them putting. I mean, they do have a ton of land around there, so there's some work they can do. There's a lot of space for expansion there. So I think if I were going to lean towards something, I would say it's either going to be the Zootopia themed ride or it's going to be an expansion of Pandora. That's just going to be my two thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to shoot down the Zootopia one right now.
You think so? Okay.
Because so traditionally, every time they've opened up a new land, have you ever seen a land open up with a single attraction in it?
No.
Right.
At least
I know
not
Star
a single
Wars Land. The second ride is coming, but if they did a whole here's Zootopia and here's this Zootopia ride. There would have to be a couple of things there, and they wouldn't just be talking about an e-ticket attraction. They would be saying, we've got a couple of things coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see that being the thing. I'm more leaning towards, maybe because of the fact that Avatar is now, they're in production for, the sequel movies and everything. Maybe that's the plan, is that, because if you look at Flight of Passage, that's kind of Smuggler's Run, right?
Without the interaction, yeah.
Yeah, it's a simulator type ride. And
sure,
maybe this is, them kind of doing a mirroring of that, where they're going to do a Rise of the Resistance-esque ride. So something that, actually has a track or moves through a building, and that's going to be the expansion.
That could be it. I think there's a lot of options for them here, right? That's not a bad point.
Yeah, and I know they already have Navi River Cruise in Pandora, but honestly, that one was kind of a flop in my opinion. And someone's going to kill me for saying this.
Damon would if he was still on. He loves that ride for some reason.
Yeah, and I'm sure my wife, when she listens to this, she's going to get mad at me. So I'll deal with that later this week. But I don't know. Like that ride felt very they tried to do a lot with it, but they didn't budget themselves properly. It should have been, one, a longer ride. It seems so incredibly short, and two, it didn't seem, it seemed very disjointed. There was, when I ride other dark rides or boat rides like that, there's at least a semblance of a story. This was just kind of you're going through and it's oh, here's all this animals, and then here's the shaman at the end.
I get that. I get that. So for my opinion on that ride is this. It's hard to go on Flight of Passage and then to go on that ride and be because Flight of Passage is so good, and then you go on that ride and it's kind of like a bummer. Your expectations are... Yeah, it is. But I don't think it's a bad ride standing on its own. Just going on it, it's very peaceful. It's very quiet. It's really beautiful. You can if you take it all in and take the time to look at everything. I wanted to ride it again after it was over because I felt like I didn't even get to take in all the details of it. There's a lot of detail in there that you can really look at. But to your point, very short, just way too short. especially for the amount of wait time that you have for it, right? I mean, it's been so busy. So, I mean, it's probably going to calm down a little bit once, Star Wars is happening here. But, yeah, if I waited an hour for that and then went on it and it's a minute and a half, I'd be like, oh, God, I can't believe I wasted an hour on this,
Yeah. And that's kind of why I feel... Yeah, just because of the fact that that ride didn't hit very well, but then Flight of Passage is amazing. Yeah. I feel like they could do another ride in an expansion to that land, and it would be, you would have 2 e-ticket rides in that land, similar to how you have Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, and I mean, that's Rise of the Resistance is obviously the e-ticket attraction in Galaxy's Edge, right?
Yeah, but Smuggler's Run isn't bad from any, I haven't heard anyone talk badly about it, so. That's
exactly true. So that's the thing, right? I mean, if it's anything, that's almost an E, like in between an E and a D, right? I mean, it's almost a second e-ticket attraction, but I think there's also a lot of things where people don't get impressed by a lot of things these days. It's hard to impress people. It's always got to be bigger, more technologically advanced, crazier, and so when you have something that's a simulator that you control, even no matter how much interactivity you have with it, I could see some people just being like, whatever. But it looks really cool to me, and everyone I've heard, like you said, everyone says it's great. So I don't know. I'll have to experience it for myself to really find out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but like I said, back to thinking about Animal Kingdom is, even if they, I guess, Flight of Passage is the e-ticket ride. If they did something less than an e-ticket there, would people be interested? Because after the way things went with Navi, would it be like, oh, you've got 2 kind of meh rides there and then the really good ride, and then everybody, it just makes Flight of Passage worse for lines and everything. I don't know if it could actually get any worse than it's been, but
that's true. Listen, I'll be interested to see what happens here. But here's the thing: this is 5 years down the line, right? So even if they start building it, like if this is going to come out in 2024, maybe they start building it in 2021, 2022. That's a lot of time for this to be canceled, right? I mean,
true. Yeah.
How many things have we seen actually get announced and then get canceled?
Yeah. I mean, again, to say that, they've got something in the pipe for this, you're right, is, this could all be hinging on, these new Avatar movies coming out. And then, the second one hits and everyone, treats it like the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait, no. Like,
well, and that's why some people were surprised about the Mary Poppins thing, because Mary Poppins did well, but it didn't do as well as they thought it was going to. So a lot of people, and because the whole Mary Poppins thing in England has been rumored forever, right? Yeah. That's been something that's been rumored for a long time. But a lot of people thought when the movie didn't bomb, it just didn't do as well as they thought. And so a lot of people thought when that happened that maybe they were going to nix it. But I guess it did well enough, and they're going to make another one. So to your point, though, if Avatar 2 and 3, even if just Avatar 2 bombs, then, what do they do then? So.
Yeah. And I was going to say that the thing about Mary Poppins is that the second one did okay, and they already have the third one planned, and they already kind of have the books to rely on for that. Like, people kind of know on some level what to expect from it. So, making Cherry Tree Lane also, even outside of, those new movies, say putting Cherry Tree Lane in as an attraction, it has that, I don't want to say historical value.
That's true.
But it has that, like, there's already a classic Disney IP around it. So, like,
that's true.
That doesn't hurt. Like people will go in there and, just, like, still think about the original Mary Poppins and could ignore the sequels quite effectively. But then the difference with Avatar is that you have the movie, which doesn't even actually relate to the land yet.
It's true.
And so it's like, I don't know.
No, it makes total sense. It's funny you say that too, because I was telling my wife about that this was being built, and she was like, you know what, I'm going to turn on Mary Poppins, the original one, and I'm going to show it to my daughter. Mm-hmm. So, which is just kind of a funny thing but that's what Disney's hoping, right? Disney's hoping that you do that, and then you go home and you watch Mary Poppins, whether it's the new one or the old one. They don't really care. You watch either one, they're going to be happy. And then the future one, hopefully you like both of them, and you want to see the next one. So
I mean, that's like I made my kid watch the original, and I think I made him watch it a little too young because he was kind of like, at first he was like, what the heck was that? Like he didn't quite understand it, but then he's watched it since, and he's like, okay, you know, I get it. And then we watched the second one, and he enjoyed the second one because he knew the context of it from the first one.
I get you.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I've never seen the original, and I know people will kill me for that, but I've never seen the original, and I'd seen the new one. So my wife and I watched the new one. I like the new one, and I'm sure I missed some stuff from not seeing the original to the new one, but you know, and I, you know, of course, looked those things up later and find out how things are connected. But
yeah, I mean, the two movies do function independently of each other, other than you know, Jane and Michael, like them growing up and all that. Like like knowing that kind of helps, but they do a good job of kind of framing that at the beginning of like where they are in their lives and everything. So yeah, I guess you're right. You didn't necessarily need to watch the first one to get the second one, but it definitely helps.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. So now that Damon's gone, we need to talk more about Epcot stuff, because you know he was kind of cramping our style on the Epcot.
Do we want to circle back and touch on a couple more of those rumors real quick?
I would love to talk more Epcot stuff, because there was a lot of Epcot stuff. But I did want to talk about another thing here with that they did announce today that I didn't have on our list today, which was Disney Genie. Did you see this one?
Disney Genie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me.
Yeah. Click on that. I just added this in. So this is going to be a new app. I don't know if this is going to replace My Disney Experience or not. I don't think it is, based on what I'm reading here. They didn't say, but what this is the idea behind this. This is Disney, I feel like, getting a little bit into some more AI type stuff, some little artificial intelligence type thing. Mm-hmm. And what this is, it looks like it's an app, and it's an app, yeah. But basically the idea behind this is going to help you plan your Disney World vacation. And I'm just looking at screenshots of this, and the first screenshot I see, it has 7 Doors Mine Train, and it says current wait time, and then it says lowest forecasted wait time, giving you an idea of the best time to go during the lowest wait time. And all I'm thinking to myself now is that touring plans is in a lot of trouble. But
that's such a bad idea, though.
You think so? I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a great idea. No, you don't like it?
Well, okay. This is the selfish part of my brain talking.
Because you don't want people to know about your little hidden secret of the best time to go, right?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
That is exactly it. Is that if everybody has this information at their fingertips, you know, I'm looking at that picture you're talking about where it's like, oh, you know, come back between these times. All of a sudden you're going to get a flood of people that are all there at that time thinking that, you know, they're going to get a 10-minute wait time, and it's going to actually be worse. But again, this is also Disney. You know, Disney has all of this information, and it's just a matter of whether or not Disney chooses to make this information public or not. And yeah, like you said, things like touring plans, they obviously, you know, kind of work in that gray area of, you know, they figured out some of these things and they make it available to those people who want to look for it. But this is, you know, Disney first party giving it out, which is a lot more
reliable. They have the actual data.
Well, yeah, it's reliable, but also the thing to caution about that is that Disney can also manipulate it as well.
That's exactly right.
So,
but that's why I'm not that worried about it, actually, because I don't. You said that people are going to rush there. Yeah, they might, or you know, Disney might make it so that they rush to other places. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll still do my own research, but yeah, this is a very curious thing to me. That and the fact that. Yeah, like you said, it seems like they're kind of what I equate this to is if you've ever, or like Dave was saying, you know, ordering stuff on Amazon, they pay attention to your buying patterns and all that kind of stuff, and they kind of tune, you know, things that they offer you based on your history. I feel like this is the same kind of thing, is that this app is going to look very different depending on the kinds of things that you're looking for.
Yeah, and that's exactly right? So like, it's not going to throw at you, hey, you should go on this ride right now. Like, it's like if you're looking at Seven Dwarves, then it's telling you a good time to go, right?
Or,
you know?
Or if it's clear that, you know, your family is really into Toy Story, they're going to tell you, you know, Buzz Lightyear at this time, you can meet Buzz and Woody over here, you can, you know, like, here's all the Toy Story related stuff you can do. That's kind of what I get out of it.
Yeah, and it can also, it seems like it can help with customized itineraries, but it also says if you don't know what you want to do or may not know the best time or the order to do it, you can tell Disney Genie what you'd like to experience, and it will evaluate millions of options to present you with an optimal day. So when I think about that, I'm almost wondering, again, to go back to touring plans, because I use touring plans. I don't know if you do, but I do subscribe to touring plans, and they do like a crowd calculator, where they kind of guess what they think the crowds are going to be. And I did base some of my planning based on that. Not that they're super accurate, but they're better than me just guessing, right?
Yeah.
So it almost feels like Disney's going to do this, where they're going to suggest certain days for you to go to certain parks with this app, which is interesting to me.
Yeah. And again, for me, I don't subscribe to touring plans because I get what you're saying about, they kind of give you a good rundown, but
sure.
This is where I go back to, I've always done my own thing and I've kind of done my own plan, and it's worked out. And I guess my only worry is that, that all the little, I shouldn't say little things. It's not like, like sneaking through back doors or anything, but like
all your little secret tricks.
Yeah. Like I've kind of figured out, what days I want to go to what parks and stuff like that. I feel like this could really derail some of my planning, because it's like they're, like you were saying, they're saying, in the app, it's saying, today everybody should go to Epcot. And then suddenly, this was the day
Epcot.
That I thought, Epcot was going to be quiet, but all of a sudden all these people show up there. And I know it's not that cut and dry that, people just, follow the app and, don't question it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is definitely something kind of tuning towards, like you said, touring plans and some of those other sites that people subscribe to get that insider information, so to speak. It feels like Disney's trying to muscle in on that area with this.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have to say, if you only use touring plan, and I hate to say this because this is, again, something I don't want to tell people, I use their reservation alert system. So they have a thing where you can put in, like, I want to eat at this place on this day at this time for this many people. And it will constantly search. I don't know how they do it, but it'll constantly search for open available reservations. And like half of my reservations on this trip have been doing it that way, because then they'll text you when it's open. Now, they don't make it for you, obviously, but they'll text you, hey, this reservation's open, go book it. It's so convenient.
Yeah, it's just it's a bot that searches the API infrastructure on Disney's side, which is something, technically they're just searching the web page for you.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what they're doing. But it saves me a lot of time, because I don't have to sit there and stalk the app, and just as a lot of pass holders call it, pound the app, where you're just constantly refreshing and looking for things. Because all I do is I put in I want this, and then it texts me when it's available, and it's been very helpful. But I don't want everyone going to use that. Okay, let's just keep that between us, guys.
Yeah. Don't tell all your friends to subscribe to touring plans, because then Tom won't get his restaurants.
Now I feel like I need a kickback from touring plans. I need to call up touring plans, and they need to be a sponsor over here. So we only take sponsors that are involved with it. We've gotten offers from other sponsors for like weird stuff, and I just want DVC and Disney stuff. Like, because I don't want to talk to you guys about like a therapy app. Like, that's weird.
Yeah. We're not here to just sell stuff. We're obviously here to talk about Disney. So
store.welcomehomepodcast.com for all your welcome home t-shirts.
Have you seen our t-shirts?
What? I mean, listen, just, we're not here to sell stuff, but if you feel like going and buying a t-shirt, please go do so. So what else did you, what'd you say?
The t-shirts are cool. I mean,
yeah, they're good. They're great. I love the t-shirts.
And they're for wearing to Disney. So
right.
There you go. These are, this is meant to be your Disney apparel. So we're doing people a favor by, giving them clothes to wear to Disney.
That's obviously true. Yeah. That's what you got to do. So anyway, what do we want to talk about from Epcot now that Damon's gone? What else did we want to discuss?
Let's see. What did we miss?
Well, there's a new Canada film. Hey, there you go.
As a Canadian, I'm so not interested.
I figured you're not interested in that, but it is debuting in January 2020. I don't think they said who the narrator is going to be. I'm interested to see who that's going to be.
No, they didn't, and it's I mean,
a lot of famous, funny Canadians too. I mean, there's got to be somebody good in there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think as of late, like who they could possibly look at.
I had speculated. I think we'd done a segment on this before, and I think I'd said Ryan Reynolds would be a good choice.
He's an obvious one, and actually, coincidentally, I watched Detective Pikachu last night, and he was really good in that. So
yeah, he'd be a good. I kind of forgot he was Canadian. What if they did like Mike Myers? Do people still know Mike Myers? Is he kind of done?
I think
kids don't know Mike Myers.
He's done at the moment. I think he kind of. I don't even see him on Canadian television. Actually, I've seen William Shatner more than I've seen Mike Myers. So,
that's interesting. Who else would you think, though? You probably know more than I do.
Well, this is the thing. I'm trying to rack my brain of like obvious Canadian celebrities, and somebody
that's world famous that's Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, Keanu Reeves. He grew up.
Keanu's having a moment right now.
Yeah, I mean, he could tell us how breathtaking Canada is. Because
do you really want Keanu this is Canada, like this is the mountains, like he's just very monotone when he talks. I
was gonna say he has a very soothing voice. I mean,
he does. It's very soothing. Don't get me wrong, he does. But
so if you think about it like that, I know. A lot of people go into those kinds of shows because they want to, chill out and nap or whatever. And it's like a stand-up show, but really you could sit down on the floor in there. So, yeah, I mean, maybe having Keanu in there means, you got a nice soothing voice for about 20 minutes. So
new place to nap, new place.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
that's not nice. I mean,
no, that's not. No, I like
Keanu. Yeah.
I don't even mean Keanu. I like those movies. I've enjoyed like when I've gone and checked those out. I think they're really interesting, and I know they're basically tourism films. But I mean, I haven't been to Canada, so to get to see how beautiful Canada is, it's cool. I like it. So because now I don't have to go. No, I'm just kidding. I was
gonna say it's funny you say that because I really do take it for granted, and I really shouldn't. Yeah. And I guess this is me, publicly admitting that I'm a bad Canadian. But because the thing is, like on those pictures how they show like the mountains and the waterfalls and everything.
Yeah,
that's like I drive for an hour from my house and I'm there. So yeah, I'm not even joking. Like it's just there's mountains, you can go out to like glaciers and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like watching those shows. It's like, yeah, I can do that at home. I don't need to stand here for 20 minutes and be told about stuff that's like in my backyard.
About. Yeah, I get it. I know what you mean. I totally understand. Like if there was like a video like I just went to the American Adventure like that show for the first time like 2 trips ago. So I mean, I get it. Like and I feel like a terrible American for not going to that too. So
yeah, I guess the thing is, in Epcot, you want to see more, right? You want to see stuff outside of your culture. So yeah, the Canadian and the American pavilions, even like both of those for me is like, that's kind of a skip because it's like, I'm already there. So I want to see the other ones.
That makes sense. Yeah. I get that. So let's right. Some things we missed. Okay, so
what else is there?
I'll give you let's go with the Ratatouille Adventure and Creperie opening in summer 2020 in France.
Yes, crepes. I like crepes.
I love crepes, and this place will be the menu will be created by the person who heads the restaurant in France, and it will offer both table service and quick service options, which is kind of cool.
See, and that's perfect for me because I like a lot of these places. There's some good sit downs that I really want to try in Epcot, but I don't want to do a sit down.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want to, just grab the food and go. And I feel like this could almost be an extension of how they've done, food and wine and Flower and Garden Festival, where they have the booth set up. And obviously that's all going to move to the festival center. But maybe this is like, a start of where, each of the pavilions offers, like I know a lot of them do offer quick services now, but there's also some where it's like, they've got something really unique like crepes. It's like, I want to grab crepes on my way over to the Japan pavilion to get my shaved ice and sushi. and then, for dessert, I'm stopping off in Germany at that caramel shop. So.
Oh my God. I like to just walk through that shop. I don't even buy anything. I just walk through and smell.
That shop is dangerous. Like, yeah.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you, I'll admit this on the show, I don't care. When we were drinking around the world, I wandered off from my wife, because I was a little inebriated, and wandered into the bakery in France and wandered out with, I don't know, maybe $50 worth of pastries. And my wife was like, "Where did you go?" She's like, "We were looking for you." And I guess I was just sitting in there, just like wolfing down like a croissant or something. It was, it was funny at the time, but I also was like, why didn't I buy all this food? Like, what was I thinking? It was all delicious, don't get me wrong, but anyway.
I feel like we're touching on something very dangerous in Epcot.
Listen, I only did it once to say that I could do it, and
right, but how many more people like you have done that?
Probably a lot. It's probably how they make all the money in those shops. Just drunk people wandering in and buying all sorts of stuff. But that I don't think I've ever actually purchased anything in that Germany. No, you know what? Maybe I got like a caramel brownie or something. I bought something there, but shoot, I need to go ask my wife. We bought some, we bought a couple of things there last time, and there was a cookie. There was a cookie with caramel in it, and it was like, yeah. I think the two best smells at Disney are that and the ice cream shop on Main Street.
The confectionery or the ice cream?
The ice cream shop. When you walk by the ice cream shop, you can smell like fresh waffle cones.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, it just makes you need to go in there. But no, the confectionery too. I know they pipe these smells out there. I know they do. That's fine. I don't care. It smells amazing and I need to eat it.
I was going to say, I don't think they even need to around those shops. Like the one in Germany, it's like, they're making caramel. Like you can't fake that.
And it just smells amazing. So you just have to go in there. Yeah. How about, here's one, I got one for you. So we talked 2 weeks ago or 2 episodes ago about Reflections, about the restaurant being on the lake. Disney confirmed that today.
Oh yes, that's right. And
it's going to be themed to Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, and I've still been seeing a lot of blowback about, because we also saw the concept art for the lobby as well, right? Or did you talk about that?
Oh, you weren't on this episode with us. We talked about this last time, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you thought there would be some blowback, or you have been seeing blowback?
I saw a bit of blowback on Facebook about it. That people were saying they were tired of the woodsy resorts.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about the fact that Pocahontas is in the lobby, and I know some people might have an issue with that too.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know, but it seems like there's a lot of different movies they're throwing into this resort. So
I feel like I almost shouldn't ask this question, but what's wrong with Pocahontas?
I don't know. I think it's because the movie doesn't really represent, the story of the actual Pocahontas very well.
Okay, fair. But most Disney movies don't represent the actual story, so.
My biggest problem is that Mel Gibson's the only one that doesn't bother to do an English accent. And why is he just talking with an American accent? Especially when we know he can do one too.
I was going to say, isn't he Australian though?
Yeah, but he did the accent. He did the accent in Braveheart. You couldn't throw the accent in there for Pocahontas. All right. That's besides the point.
Yeah.
It looks interesting to me. It looks cool. I'm on board, and I'm on board for the restaurant too.
Yeah, I think Reflections is one of those things that again, we keep saying this. I have to really see it, and I honestly don't know if it will. I may actually end up staying at Copper Creek before I stay at Reflections.
I think the initial art I wasn't enthused, but the last set of art that's come out, I'm more into it now.
Right.
That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Let's see. Play Pavilion. Nothing really announced there, but
No, I'm scrolling through all these articles and everything. I don't see anything else. I think we covered the majority of the big stuff that came out.
I think you're right about that. Yeah, I don't think we missed anything. I hope we didn't miss anything. There was some stuff about some of the parks overseas, but we don't really care that much about those. We don't really talk about them. Not that I don't care about them. I want to go check them out. Oh, how about the new daytime parade at Disneyland? That looks pretty cool. Did you see that one? That one looks cool.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's called Magic Happens, which I'm okay with. I like it. It's not bad. But
okay.
the float concept art I'm seeing is amazing. There's a Moana float in here that looks incredible. There's a Coco float that looks incredible. I'm on board. I wish it was going to be at Disney World, although I like Festival of Fantasy, so I wouldn't want them to get rid of that. But I like it.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm just bringing up the article. Yeah, that's. Oh, they got Coco going in there. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and I guess. Yeah, I mean, Disneyland. This again kind of goes back to our discussion about them separating the parks, right? Is even people want the parades to come to from Disneyland to Disney World or vice versa, and really the only one that's done that has been the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Mm-hmm. That's true, yeah.
But yeah, I guess stuff like this, this new parade, kind of again justifies why I would want to go to Disneyland over Disney World in the future.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I still want Paint the Night to come to Disney World. But I mean, that's just me being selfish.
I mean, it could happen someday, right? Yeah.
But you need to go to Disneyland and see it yourself too.
It's on my to-do list. It's on the where my wife and I's our bucket list, the before we die list, is to go to every park in the world, and obviously Disneyland will be the first one. Although my best friend texted me after the Avengers Campus announcement and was like, "We going to Disneyland next year?" And I was like, "Why? You want to go to D23?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that. But also I want to go to the Avengers thing." And I was like, "Okay. I mean, that sounds cool. I'd love to go to D23 if they have it in Anaheim again next year, but I mean, they could have it elsewhere." So
yeah, my wife was saying she wants to go to D23 one day, and part of me is like,
press passes, man. Let's get some press passes. We're press.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can cover it as part of the podcast. That would be cool. But I also have a bit of anxiety about those big convention type things as well.
I've heard they're kind of crazy. So
yeah, I've gone to one or two, but again, that's also just been as like a random, like I didn't really know what I was in for, and I just kind of showed up, and it really kind of threw me for a loop, and I spent a lot of time standing in a corner figuring out a plan to get out of the building.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny. Okay, so I think we hit all the news. Anything that you're disappointed about that you didn't hear? How about that? That's a good question.
I wasn't really. I guess I wasn't expecting anything. Like the things that I cared about was, Mickey's Runaway Railway was high on my list, and they did cover on that, so I was happy about that. Outside of that, I don't. I try to not set my expectations crazy high. Like I know earlier when we were talking about, the hype train for the Star Wars hotel, that, Damon is like driving the train and I still haven't boarded yet.
Yeah. You're still watching it just like, I don't know if I want to get on this train yet.
Yeah. I want to be hyped, but also I feel that, I like being pleasantly surprised in that if I don't in my head build something up to be like, this is going to be, the best thing I've ever done, or, that this is like, the best thing that Disney's ever going to do. I go and I just kind of experience it for what it is, if so to speak. Like I just take it as, here's what they did. And, maybe it's not the best ride, or even like, I know I was bashing on Navi River Cruise. It's it's not a terrible ride. Its biggest shortcoming was that, it wasn't a long enough ride. But
yeah, the ride itself is not terrible. It's just, it was too short. You wanted more.
Yeah, and so I guess that's just kind of where, like, for D23, it's like I was more just waiting to see how everyone else was going to react to it. I wasn't, myself sitting there waiting for something. I was more curious how, like, you guys talking about it and seeing how it gets brought out on Facebook. I just like seeing, either people, really getting hyped or, bashing on it, I guess. but it's curious because I just like watching how people, how the logic works behind people determining if it's good or bad.
No, that's, I get that. I like to look on the positive side of these things, and I also don't think it's fair to judge anything until it's done, right? I mean, so many people judge, even just like with the movies, right? Like a lot of the movies that have come out recently, people just judge the heck out of it before they're done, and then they see it and then they like it. So for me, like, I want to see these things done. I'm going to say my biggest disappointments of what I didn't hear about were obviously the new pavilion at Epcot. Really wanted to hear about that. Was hoping to hear about what they're going to do with Figment. And I'll always call that Figment. I'm not going to call it Journey into Your Imagination because it's Figment. All right, just like Star Wars Land, it's Figment. Right. I was kind of hoping I was going to hear what's going to happen with that, because I feel like they're going to turn all of Epcot into this shiny brand new car, and then they're going to have like a 1974 car over in the pavilion, in the Imagination Pavilion, just sitting there. It's kind of sad to me in a way. Not that I want them to get rid of Figment. I want them to restore it to its original glory, right? But they have to announce something with it, right? It's not going to stay in its current state forever. Something needs to happen.
Yeah, and actually, now that you're mentioning it, if you think about where Figment sits, looking at the new neighborhoods for Epcot, that's in the World Nature neighborhood.
Oh, interesting.
So that doesn't really fit.
Plus, it doesn't bode well for Figment fans. Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe it'll get reincarnated over on the Discovery side, or maybe it's just one of those things. Actually, this isn't just bad news for Figment fans. This is also bad news for DVC members.
Oh, for the lounge? Yeah, if they decided to tear that thing down, I think people would be more upset about the lounge than the ride.
Right. But I guess they wouldn't tear it down necessarily. It would be, they would rebuild it as, something themed to nature. So I guess it's not necessarily that you would lose the lounge, because they could still potentially have that space for the lounge, but then downstairs gets redone from Figment into whatever it is they decide to do.
I will say from the concept art, the building is still in the concept art.
Right.
So it's still there. But
yeah, it's very clearly in a place that, well, does imagination have a place in nature? I suppose it does, but...
Yeah, it kind of does. Although, wait a second, is it... I'm trying to see... It's hard to see from this picture. It almost looks like it's kind of in the World Celebration area. It's really tough to see in this picture because of the way it's angled.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah, we need to...
Yeah, actually, and the one slide they show on World Nature does not have it in there. It's interesting. This is why we need to go, so we can see for ourselves, because we're all getting getting all this secondhand information here.
Yeah, yeah. We maybe for next year we need to figure out how to get all of us to D23. Maybe this is yours and Damon's opportunity to do a West Coast trip.
That'd be fun. That'd be really fun. I would love to do that. So, I also have to say I'm disappointed that no news about what was going to go where Stitch was. I really thought we were going to hear something about that, but nothing.
I totally forgot about that.
It's just sitting there empty. I mean, it's crazy. It's prime real estate. I also kind of thought they might have used that opportunity to talk about the new Tomorrowland sign that's going to go in, because they just took the Tomorrowland sign out and they didn't put... I mean, I don't think there was any Magic Kingdom in D23, right? I'm just trying to think. Except for Tron. There's Tron.
Yeah.
But that's it.
There was Tron, but yeah, they didn't talk about Tomorrowland. I did remember seeing that, so in Disneyland, at the front of Tomorrowland, they call them the French fry rocks.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the French Fire Rocks. Yeah.
So they're taking those out, but so they talked about that, but again, there was no speak of an upgrade to Tomorrowland, which I guess the interesting thing about that is we spent all this time talking about Epcot, and really Tomorrowland should have kind of fallen in line with that as well. Even though Tomorrowland is like, a conceptual, the world of tomorrow, Epcot is kind of presenting, a futuristic community, right? Mm-hmm. So it seems to me like maybe they should have been looking at Tomorrowland the same time that they were looking at Epcot. But I can also see why they wouldn't want to do that, because, it's kind of, splitting their focus.
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot to focus on right now, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's pretty crazy how much is going on. So, so maybe, I was bummed about that. Maybe,
again, Tron is probably monopolizing all their thought around Tomorrowland, because it is a big thing to redo. Like, they're redoing all the pathways and everything leading up to the Tron ride, and it's a fairly big area that they're building for it. Like, because
they're building a tunnel for the train to go through. I mean, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, and the building itself, like the ride,
it's huge. Yeah,
the ride has the indoor section, but then it has that big sprawling outdoor section as well. So
I'll be interested to see how they build that. Like, is this just going to be one big piece that's prefab and they bring it in, or like, how is that going to work? I'm interested to watch that happen. But
I kind of wish there's no footage from when it was being built in Shanghai, so
I do find it very interesting. They're building it all. They built it all already, and I just saw a picture. They're putting theming elements in already, but they haven't built the building around it. It just seems odd to me that they're doing it that way. But
well, it's probably because they already have all the molds and stuff already figured out. Like,
that's true.
Like, it isn't like they're in, like with other attractions, they have to kind of figure it out as they go if it's something net new, because this is a copy of an existing one. They probably borrowed a lot of the design docs from Shanghai and went, we're just fabricating this, right?
They're just gonna make it again.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that was all the things I was bummed about. I wanted to hear about those things. I think that was it. I was really hoping to hear more about those, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, but I mean, all in all, I think this D23, I mean, none of them have been bad that I've seen, but it seems like, Disney's at least, they're thinking forward, right? Like
sure.
These D23 announcements it's very clear that, they've acknowledged that Epcot specifically as a park has been stagnating for a long time. And I'm happy to see all the stuff that they're doing to improve it. And as much as I know, Damon contests the whole, bringing IPs into Epcot. And I wish, I should have mentioned this when he was here earlier. Things like Mary Poppins, even though, it's saying, well, it's a Disney IP, it's also like, it's part of England's, culture.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's a Disney movie and everything, but they got it's all based off of, writings that came from, or, books that were written from the standpoint of someone in England. And the same as like Moana or any of those, it's their storytelling of around different cultures. And to argue that, that doesn't fit in Epcot, it's, really Epcot is Disney's version of showing off different cultures anyway.
Sure.
They're not letting, I shouldn't say they're not letting the cultures just, do what they want. They are to a certain extent, but, Disney still has their own way of presenting those cultures.
Well, and I think the argument against doing this is more strong when you cite Frozen than Ratatouille or Mary Poppins.
Right, because Frozen's not a real...
Exactly. Frozen was based on not a real place. And the Ratatouille ride is a lot about, cooking is very much a big part of French culture, right? And that's
Absolutely.
really what the ride is about, right? I mean, I know it's Ratatouille, but the ride's about cooking. It's about, you're in a kitchen, you're going, so yes, it's from the standpoint of a rat, yes, but it's still very French. It's just a very French thing, right? So, I mean, and I think you could definitely point to Guardians coming in as being like, okay, you know, that one's a little out there, but at least it's over by the space area. Like, you know, I mean,
yeah, I mean that whole thing is, you know, yeah, you've got, you know, Test Track, which is turned into like a virtual reality thing. You've got Mission Space, which is, you know, space launch. Guardians, yeah, it is kind of weird because it is you know, it's strictly a comic book IP being brought into the rest of a park that, you know, it doesn't fit as much, but it still has that very futuristic vibe to it, and like the whole, like the Xandar spaceship in the front and everything like that. It just really, you know, it's just futuristic. That's really all it has going for it.
And that neighborhood is going to be like the futuristic technology side of Epcot. And if you look at it from that point of view, it works, right? I mean, that whole thing works. I mean, even Test Track works inside that, because the way they've done it now, it's very much technology and simulation and, you know, Mission Space, the idea of, you know, going to, I mean, they're going to Mars in that, right? I think we're still going to Mars. Yeah. And,
yes, it's still Mars.
Yeah. And so you're going to Mars there. And then I know Guardians but it's still space. It's still technology, and it's still, you know, all of those things. So I get it though. Listen, I understand the Epcot purists out there. What I will say is, from what I've seen, I feel like Epcot is going to be even more Epcot than Epcot has been in a long time with a lot of these changes.
I think I'm just going to miss the music.
Yeah, I get that.
The area music, like around Spaceship Earth and everything. Again, this goes
they might
back
keep
to
it though. I mean, they may not get rid of it.
No, that I can't see them keeping it because it's so 90s. It is so like 90s, synth guitar. Like it just reeks of like my childhood. And
oh my God.
Yeah, I think that's
you're right. Yeah, it's very 90s.
That's what I missed. That's what I'm gonna miss the most about all these things happening to Epcot. But, you know, I'm willing to sacrifice it to see what new things come. Right?
No, I totally agree with that. I'm excited about the direction of Epcot. I think it's like I said, when I look at it, I think it's going to be more Epcot than it's ever been. And honestly, just because I love all these green spaces that, like, very open, like really cool futuristic looking, you know, construction, and it's just going to open things up a lot more. But Damon made a brilliant point there. That middle part is going to be Epcot now, and everything else is kind of a different piece of Epcot now. But, you know,
they're becoming more
okay.
defined, right?
Yeah.
There's actual definition, because really it never, like, Future World never had definition before. It was a kind of a
that's true.
Things were all over the place, right?
Yeah. I would agree with that. I like part of the reason I like Pandora, and part of the reason I like Animal Kingdom, is it's a place you can get lost in. And what I mean by that is, like, you can wander in Animal Kingdom, right? And you just, all of a sudden, you run into some animals. Or, you know, Pandora, you run into some small detail. The things I've seen so far with the new Epcot, it seems like it's going to be a place where you can relax, where you can, you know, if you want to sit for a few minutes, you can do that and really enjoy and take things in and enjoy the nature that's around it. And even that Moana thing, it feels like that, right? It's very natural. It's very nature oriented. It's very relaxing. And that kind of seems to be like what they're building in a lot of these places. And it feels, if you look at like the original concept stuff for Epcot, all of that stuff they're building in that center area feels so Epcot. It feels like, you know, so just like open green spaces, you know, places where people congregate. It seems very Epcot to me. And so I'm excited about that. I think it's cool.
And you actually you touched on a point for me too that I realized I've missed out on for a while is, so again, at Disneyland, because you guys haven't seen it, I was talking about there's the Wilderness Explorers Trail, which is it's a, there's like rope courses and a bunch of stuff in there, but it also is like you're in a forest, and, you know, they've got the music playing, there's little creeks running through it and everything. And it was one of those spaces that whenever we went, when we were in California Adventure, we would always finish off our evening there, because it was the kind of place, like, after the day the crazy thing is that my kid, like at the end of the day, you'd think he'd be tired, but he would still have a certain amount of pent up energy, and he would just want to go and run and do stuff. And it was one of those spaces where, you know, we could go and we could sit down on a bench and he would just go. And it was the most relaxing thing ever. Like it was nice and relaxing for us. He got his time to play. That's what I'm hoping Epcot becomes, is that, you know, it's a place where, you know, you can sit if you want to, but then it also has those interactive things, that it has those family centered things that, you know, your kids are going to want to go play, but, you know, like you said, you can just sit and you can enjoy it as well. Like it's a place for everyone.
Yeah. That's a certain thing that you really get at Disney parks. That's really cool. Like there's a place like that. One of my favorite hidden spots, and I hate to say this, but, one of my favorite hidden spots at Magic Kingdom is there's 2 rocking chairs on a little dock that overlook, Big Thunder Mountain. Oh, and, on Tom Sawyer Island. Mm-hmm. No one's ever there. It's so quiet over there that like you don't even. Is? What's that?
There's a little checkerboard there, so you can like.
Yeah, I think there's a checkerboard there. Yeah. But it's like I sat there one time, and these rocking chairs. My wife and I sat there. I think we sat there for a half hour. It was quiet. It was like you wouldn't even know that you were in the busiest theme park in the world. You know, like just sitting there, and that's a cool thing to have. And I feel like Epcot's adding a lot of those spaces, and I'm here for it, man. I'm all for it. I like these ideas. I think they look great. And I'm psyched about it. I'm really psyched about it. So, we should probably talk really quickly on the last episode. We talked about, there was some stuff going around the groups about a secret announcement and about,
the big secret announcement.
And we talked about it on the show last week just because people were talking about it. But what happened was a Disney group, and I'm not going to say which one, because of the coincidental timing of the addition of the secret announcement to the calendar around Universal's 3rd theme park, a lot of people thought Disney was going to announce a new theme park. I was never on that train. I always felt that Disney was going to announce a new theme park. They were going to pump it up, right? They were going to hype that announcement a whole bunch.
But they're not going to allude to it. They'll just drop a bomb on everyone.
Yeah, or that, right? But they weren't streaming it. They weren't even talking about it. But certain groups out there were hyping this up. Oh, big secret announcement. You know, Disney's response to Universal's 3rd theme park. And, you know, in reality, all it was, Disney never made this a big secret announcement, by the way. They just threw it on the calendar. In fact, I kind of think they buried it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But what the announcement was on Thursday, they announced that there's a cast member documentary coming to Disney Plus where they follow cast members all across the world and all across all the Disney departments and follow kind of a day, you know, that they go through. And first of all, I'm psyched for this. That's a show that I will love to watch.
Yeah, totally. Right? Like, cause like last year when they did that thing where they interviewed the guy that, when they were, putting in the cake or the Haunted Mansion, gingerbread house. And then they had a cake for him and all that stuff. And yeah, I loved that. I loved watching those behind the scenes, and, you know, for them to do a whole series on it, it's like, yes, please.
And then I saw it's like a 60 episode series, or there's 52 episodes. It's one every week for a year, which I was like, wow. Whoa, that's a lot of episodes. So I am totally here for that. I am so psyched about that. But a lot of people were like, had built it up in their brains that this was going to be a 3rd park, or it was going to be some huge announcement. And it was nothing. It was
This goes back to what I was talking about, how I try really hard not to jump both feet on the hype train, because that's an example of, you know, where you build it up in your head and then you get disappointed, right? Because it doesn't live up to the hype that you've set for yourself. I would rather, you know,
exactly,
you know, I get interested and I get excited, but I would rather be like, oh, you know, they actually, you know, they went above, or they did something I didn't expect, and now I'm surprised in a good way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because I was like, if you're disappointed, it's your own fault that you're disappointed, because you built this up in your head like it was something when it was never something. Like, you know, like it's your own fault for having ridiculous expectations of what this could possibly be, especially when it wasn't like, again, Disney wasn't pumping this up as a big announcement. The only people pumping it up were this one Disney group.
It was Facebook groups that...
Yeah.
That thought that it was an inside track on something when...
Exactly. Yeah. And they whiffed hard on that. They whiffed hard. And I mean, even like a lot of the Disney blogs, like a lot of the big ones, they weren't even talking about it as a big thing. It was really just this one group that was looking for clicks, honestly. If we're going to be honest about it, they wanted clicks. So they would, and this group spams like every single Disney group, like literally every single one they post their stuff on. So, and listen, and that's fine, but it just, all of a sudden everybody just believed that there was going to be this big announcement, even though Disney didn't pump up a big announcement. But because this Disney group said this was going to be a huge announcement, it's Disney's response to Universal, then everybody is assuming that's what it's going to be. And so when you build it up to that, of course, anything short of another park is going to be a disappointment. But yeah, yep. I don't know. Just had to address that because we talked about it briefly last week, and yeah, it just was silly.
Yeah, I remembered seeing, on Thursday I saw that, and I was like I read it, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw all the, I thought that this was, I thought this was another park. I'm so disappointed. I'm like, well, sucks to be you.
Well, that's funny. There were some people even after the Thursday announcement, they're like, no, that's not it. That's not it. It's something else. It's like, no, it's not. It's over. Yeah. It's over. We know now. Just, it's okay. So anyway, let's wrap this up. This is the longest podcast we've ever done, and we should wrap this up.
How is it that we keep doing the longest podcast we've ever done?
Well, this one's the longest one by far, and Damon bailed on us like 30 minutes ago. So
yeah, I think it's. Sorry, I blame this on the fact that I've been out of.
You were gone, yeah.
Yeah, I because of all the Reno stuff, I haven't been able to talk about this stuff. So I'm now like
we expected this to be a long one though because all the D23 stuff. So
yeah,
it's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but wrap us up. Let's get
for sure. Here. Yeah. So, as usual, if you guys have any comments on the stuff we've talked about, if you want to ask us questions, if you want to, just let us know how we're doing, you can find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. And we always love your questions. We love your comments. We love hearing from you guys because it just makes us feel good. And I think we all, we all like being happy about this stuff, so keep doing it.
We need our egos to get bigger. That's really what it comes down to. We need to we need to feel like we're semi-famous in some community.
I still don't feel like we're famous. We have a lot of listeners, and it still blows me away how much, people say like they've listened to all of our episodes, and
that blows me away too. Especially since we were kind of terrible for like at least 10 episodes.
Yeah. But it still just doesn't feel real, and I'm sure there's listeners out there that are like, come on, but I don't know.
No, that's really how we feel. We have no egos about this stuff at all.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it. So please talk to us. We love talking to you guys because I think that's what fuels us finding our enjoyment in Disney. So
for sure,
keep sending this stuff. If you don't want to email us, you can, of course, find us on Facebook at Welcome Home Podcast. We just passed 2,000 likes, didn't we?
Woo-woo. Yeah, we did. That was awesome.
That's amazing that, there's at least 2,000 people out there that like us.
Well, there's a lot more that listen to us.
I know. Yeah, Facebook isn't everybody. But, yeah, we talk to our listeners on Facebook all the time. So, again, that's a great place to get a hold of us. If you don't have Facebook, but you have Twitter or Instagram, you can find us on Twitter at Welcome Home Pod or Instagram at Welcome Home Pics. Basically, everything that we post on Facebook gets mirrored there. So it's also a good way to follow us if you guys just want to keep up on things. Also, as we mentioned earlier, if you like, t-shirts and stuff, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and you can get some of our merchandise. And as I've said before, I'd love to see pics. We've gotten some from a few of our listeners already, but, we want to see pics of, you guys wearing our merch, whether it's in the parks or out of the parks, just, show us some love.
And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to promise something right now. I'm not going to say every time, but if you take a picture with our shirt on at a park, and you post it to our Facebook page, maybe there's a hat in your future. Just saying. Ooh. There you go. I can't do it all the time.
So at a park, hold on. Are you saying at any park or at a Disney park?
At any Disney park.
There you go.
Gotta take a picture with the shirt on at the Disney park. Maybe I'll send you a hat. Not going to promise that I'll send you a hat, but there's a maybe in there.
Yeah. Well,
so there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, guys, Tom's willing to send you hats.
Yes, I am. We don't have any right now, but we will at some point.
Exactly. They're nice hats, and
they're great hats. Yeah.
And again, for where we have all of us have our trips coming up here in the next couple of months. Is if we run into listeners down there, I know we've all got a few hats to hand out. So hopefully, if you happen to find us in a park, that's another way to get a hat too.
That is another way. Yeah, that's true. Did you talk about reviews?
No, I didn't. So again, if you guys are listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, whatever, leave us a review because, again, we do see those reviews. We do see that, you guys are commenting on the podcast. That helps us get better, that we kind of, we try to figure out, the stuff that people don't like and the stuff that, that you do like. And we try to make this entertaining for you guys too. But yeah, if you guys leave us those reviews, it does help more people see the podcast. And it also, if you don't like the fact that Tom hasn't been on Space Mountain, you got to tell us that. Like, if you give us the 1 star,
I mean, you don't have to say that specifically.
Well, I'm sure that's the reason why they're giving us 1 star is because you haven't been on Space Mountain. So
I think the only reason we have 1 star and that person liked the show and for some reason gave us a 1 star.
But that's fine. But again, probably because you hadn't been on Space Mountain.
That's, obviously why people are upset about it. I get it. Well, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about anywhere you can find a podcast. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for the one that says DVC and Disney Podcast. Of course, a reminder to our listeners, as always, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, believe it or not. And as such, any and all opinions we express on the show are our own. So if you have a question about DVC, talk to a DVC representative, talk to a cast member. For any questions about the things we talked about today, of course, thank you as always to DVC Resale Market for being our amazing sponsor. We love them. They're great. Please talk to them. Use them. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion and, of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
We do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl. Look out, here comes